guys. Hello, hello. Happy Sunday. What a glorious Sunday. And it is the final Sunday of December. And we are going to be going into 2026 very shortly. Before we dive into all the goodies that we have cooked up for today, if you don't know who I am, I'm Tara with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. You can learn a little bit more about me by checking out the information down below, checking out my website, kittensweightsandtarot.com, maybe checking out the Witchy Shop Desert Cauldron over on Etsy, maybe checking out the newsletter since that's going to be coming out on the 1st. I don't play the spam game. All people get from me is one newsletter at the start of every month. So if that interests you, all kinds of herby and crystally and recipe goodness, books that I'm reading, all that good stuff, that is contained within the newsletter. And there's going to be some wonderful changes going on with Patreon and this channel and my business. And I'm super excited to tell you guys all about that. But hey, let's go ahead and get started. So let me know what you guys had going on for the holidays. How was your holidays? What holiday did you celebrate? Over here at KWTHQ, we're celebrating Christmas. I have ever had. So it was wonderful. Everything was delicious. The gifts were amazing, cheer all around. And, I think it's odd that I've never seen the movie White Christmas. And I really liked it. It's like I've seen all these other Christmas movies, and I used to watch like all kinds of like older flicks, like especially since my dad was always watching like the AMC stuff. I was always watching all these old flicks, and I was like, how do I not see White Christmas? And I really liked it. It's got Bing Crosby in it. Wonderful voice. So anyway, yeah, let me know what you guys had going on. Hey, Lilith is here. What's up? Hello, hello. I am going to imbibe in my tea, which, by the way, check it out for, I think it was like a dollar or something. I got this at the thrift store. It's like my favorite snarky humor. But anyway, the tea in here, well, I did not make it myself. I mean, I brewed I heated up the water and I put it in, but I did not make this tea blend myself. This tea blend actually comes courtesy of my friend Susie. She gifted me all kinds of, like literally all kinds of stuff in like this little Christmas box. It was super cool. But she usually sends me off with some like teas, and this is that Tazo tea. It's a green tea and spearmint and lemongrass. So super healthy. Good times, good times. Okay, so what we have cooked up for today, of course, I'm going to be doing the reading, not so much for this upcoming week, but more like just something for us to meditate on, to think about as we start a brand new year. Yes, a brand new year on the Gregorian calendar. I know that there are many different types of calendars. There's Vedic and lunar, and some that go off the Venetian calendar. It's rotation like with the Mayans and everything. But here, for everybody who goes off the Gregorian calendar, we do have 2026 coming up. So we have, I'm going to be doing a little bit of just a check-in, something for us to, like I said, meditate on for the upcoming new year. And then you guys voted on a peace and prosperity spell. So I want to do a little candle. I'm going to dress a little candle and do a prayer for peace and prosperity. And I have my bay leaves here. I actually forgot my permanent marker, but I'll probably get one in a bit. So we can write down all of our like keywords for our personal prayers and things that we want as we enter into this new year. And then we can burn it in our candle and let those prayers go off into the heavens, off into the ethers. So I have some herbs for that all set up, plus the herb of the week, which is something new that we haven't done before. So like I said, we're going to be doing some changes to Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. And these are changes I've been wanting to do for probably over 5 years now, maybe longer. I've really wanted to do this. So, okay. On that note, let's have a bit of tea Dup, 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 dup. And if you guys don't mind, yes, we'll be talking about herbs today, but I also have like my other herb that's going to be just helping with some pain that I have. Okay. What do I want to do first? Well, I think I want to pull a card first. It's like I can't wait to tell you guys about all the new stuff. I'm literally every year I get so excited because I'm like, okay, like I'm finally gonna make these changes to my channel. Like this is what I want to do. And then I get stuck in like routine, and not that I don't love doing what I do, but like I've been wanting to do a refresh. It's like where you love your home, but every once in a while you want to rearrange the furniture. You want to like switch things up. It's not that you want to get rid of your home. So I don't want to get rid of my channel. I don't want to get rid of the lovely community that we have here. I just want to change some things up a bit. And sometimes it's like, oh, I don't want to switch the furniture around. It would take a long time, but I think it's finally time. I really like feel it where I'm like chomping at the bit. I'm like, let's do it. Let's do it. And I can't wait to share that with you guys. But like I said, let's pull a card first. And if we're going to be celebrating the new year, I'm going to use my deck that I created with you guys, our wonderful community. That's my Wally's World Oracle. And put this off to the side here. And I'm going to pull a card from the Sacred Powers and Goddesses. I actually backed my friend Claudia Olivos over on Kickstarter. She is a wonderful artist, and I think she has recently moved to Peru, I think it was. But she does all kinds of like sculptures and things along with her husband. Her husband also like wonderful in woodworking and art, himself. But with her paintings, I thought they were just so gorgeous that I had to back her work, on Kickstarter. I want to support artists, indie artists. And on that note, another artist that I supported on Kickstarter was Charlie Quintero, who is of the Mars Power, Star Power, Moon Power, Jupiter Power fame. And she recently came out with a deck called Neptune Power. So eventually she's going to make it through all the planets, I think. But wonderful artist, love her quirky art. I love to support artists in all their endeavors. So we'll pull a card from there too. All right, let me get these cards out. Mana. And if you guys have some messages that you have channeled, something that, some downloads, whatever, definitely share them in the chat. There have been people who contacted me and let me know that their favorite part of a live chat is really not just staring at my mug, but is actually reading the chat, what you guys have to say. You say some really awesome things. I love how you all support each other, how we can all have, different backgrounds, different beliefs and points of view, yet we can come here and share those points of view with each other. So again, if you get some messages, some downloads, maybe you slang some cards to and connect to that intuition, but let us know in the comments, in the chat section. Okay, so let's see what Wally Walito has to say. Well, I know what Vader has to say, and he groaned. He is the most expressive dog I have ever come across. Okay. If you guys want to see where Vader's at, he's right there. Okay. I'll go ahead and pull a card from here from my friend Claudia's deck. And then we'll pull, actually I feel like one card. Normally I feel like three. One card from Charlie Quintero's deck. That's super cool too. Not only are the backings of her cards just marvelous, but look at that holographic. Oh, I'm such a magpie. I'm like, ooh, shiny. Ooh, shiny. Must have. Okay. Shadowlands Radio is also here. Heyo, heyo, my friend. Hope you had a very Merry Christmas, a wonderful holiday. And I hope that, as we segue into 2026, this is going to be a kick-ass year for all of us. Okay, so diving into our reading 2026. Oh, okay, okay. So each card in our community based deck that we created together, everybody has a picture, whether they took it's like a film picture that they scanned, or it was off a cell phone, or wherever wherever they got their pictures, and they digitized them and sent them to me, of our favorite sacred spots where we just feel grounded and at peace, safe, where we would feel connected. And this picture actually was taken by moi. And the roses that border this are actually the roses that I used to grow around my house. I had bright red roses, I had orangey yellow roses, I had white roses, I had yellow roses briefly until a skunk dug them up, and then my roses died. But that's, maybe I wasn't meant to have yellow roses there. But anyway, some of these roses are dried, and they're the ones that are at the very bottom. They're the oldest roses I have down here. But that's these guys, which I'm just like, wow, it's been a hot minute. And Wally is usually photoshopped in each of the pictures. He's right there frolicking in the sun. I don't know if you guys can see. But anyway, this is the Sweetwater Reservoir, and it was what you could see from near the top of my hill. I kind of always have lived on hills, I suppose. Even when I, was really small and we lived in an apartment, it was like up on a hill. My house that I grew up in was up on a hill. The first house I bought, up on a hill. Now my property, up on a hill. So I don't know, maybe I like the vantage point. But anyway, the Sweetwater Reservoir just seemed like such a peaceful, grounded place. There was all these white herons and blue herons there, all different manner of birds. We would have deer, big herds of deer coming through. We had mountain lions, we had coyotes, we had skunks, we had raccoons, we had everybody. And it for me, living in a city, it felt like every time I looked out my balcony over into the reservoir, it just felt like all that disappeared. All the city, all the smells and the sounds and the concrete was just so far away. And all you can hear, sometimes was the flapping of wings of the larger birds. You can hear the cry of the hawks, flying overhead. It was just, I couldn't pick a better card, because I know personally, having been here, what that feeling is like. And if we have that feeling of just serenity, everything just kind of slows down, then I am excited and looking forward to 2026. Let's see. Shadowlands Radio says, just got back from Cancun, Mexico last Friday night. Spent Christmas, Mexico. Hey, nice. I'm waiting for my sister-in-law to give me the list of scents she isn't allergic to so I can make my first loose incense. High five, my fellow herby person. Super excited. All right. Another card that we have, and this one again is from my artist friend, Claudia. She has the card Oya, Queen of Sacred Storms and Transitions. Well, as you know, if we're going to have new growth, well, we're going to need a little rain, a little bit of moisture, right? And sometimes, it doesn't always come in the way that we would like it. Some people are like, well, my plants, they just need a little drizzle, and then some torrential downpour, hits, or, it's like, I just want a little bit of snow. And then you get like 100 feet of snow or something like that. We can't always choose how what we are wishing for and praying for is revealed to us, or it's expressed or manifested, you might say. So if we're looking for this tranquility, this peace, this final just just taking a nice deep breath, then maybe there are some things that need to be washed out of our lives. There are some things that we need to finally let go of. And maybe we're just, still holding on or clinging in some way. And so this card, this art here, Oya, is just reminding us that, maybe we're calling in subconsciously a little bit of help to help us flush away those pathways so that they are cleared for us for the things that we have been truly, truly praying for, that we've been truly asking, to have been, brought into our lives. Okay, so let's see. Shadowland says, my first incense is going to be a healing body incense. Well, that is something I can get behind. I'm all about healing and literally just talking about now the washing away, clearing away those pathways, just like we do with our energetic body, our physical body. Some people go on like a juice cleanse to cleanse the physical body. Some people have different other ways of cleansing the energetic body. But yeah, just clearing it all away so that we can invite in that healing, so that we can open up those pathways. Okay, and then for our tarot card, and this one is from Charlie Quintero's art, we have the Eight of Pentacles. So if there are some things that we're calling, like let's say, like what you guys voted on for this week. By the way, if you're new to the channel and you're like, what do you mean vote? So every Thursday, sometime on Thursday, I put out a poll for my YouTube members and my Patreon members, as well as our subscribers, so the general public, kind of putting it out there. And based on your votes, that's the theme that we have for the following Sunday's live chat. Well, you guys had voted on a peace and prosperity spell and prayer. So let's say we are trying to call in some of that peace and prosperity. Well, if you're wanting to call in peace, but what you've been surrounding yourself with and what you continue to keep pulling in is chaos, then you're going to find yourself always, wanting of this peace, but I can't let go of the chaos in my life. I can't let go of this energy of chaos. So it doesn't make us a bad person, but we just have to go in and take a look, recognize these patterns. Why do I have a lot of this chaos in my life? What belief or, trauma or something that's just been ingrained in me, something that I learned, where's that coming from, so that I connect to that cord of chaos, or I want to bring in prosperity, but every time somebody brings up, oh hey, let's all have a get together, my mind goes to, oh my gosh, how much is this going to cost me? I don't know if I have enough money for this. Or like, hey, so-and-so's birthday is coming up. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough money to buy a beautiful gift for my friend. It always goes to this lack, this what I don't have, instead of looking at what we do have, like a beautiful friendship, or the fact that I do have wonderful friends that I can enjoy spending my time with. Not everything is about money. And I know that we know that, but sometimes we need a reminder that there are other ways that we can show our abundance and share our gratitude with others, just like they share that with us. Sometimes they share it in a smile. Sometimes it's just, making a cup of tea for your friends. Simple little things. So what these cards are showing me is that if this is what we're seeking, this grounded peace, prosperous, just relaxed, I can finally take a breath, then, and we've been calling in this, help with us to clear things out. We still have to do the work. We still have to be a part of the things that happen in our lives. We can't just, kick back and be like, okay, universe, okay, creator, you do it all for me. I don't think so. We're put here to, learn and grow and expand and, all these wonderful things, all these different missions that we all have. But all of them involve doing something. If we weren't meant to do something, we probably wouldn't be born with this very mobile body that we have, or our ability to think mobile, or to be able to speak. All of these things are, actionable. We are a living verb. So we are meant to do something to help ourselves to get that which we desire. So, okay. Wonderful, wonderful message. Let's see. Shadowlands has just finished my third cup of tea. It was Harney and Sons Black Cask Rum flavored tea. Ooh, you know what? I have never had a rum flavored tea. That sounds really interesting. 3 cups. If it's black tea or black cask rum tea, well, you might be kind of wired right now. Well, I don't know, depending on your caffeine abilities. Me, I don't have such caffeine abilities. So I'm like green teas, herbal teas, occasionally black tea. I had a black tea actually today when Riley and I went to church. We were both like, at the 8 a.m. service. I was so tired this morning. So yeah, I was like, I needed tea. So I had English breakfast tea and perked me right up. So I can listen to all the wonderful music and the wonderful word they had. Okay, so putting this aside. All right. Next, I wanted to get into the herb of the week. And after I talk about that, I'm going to start talking about the changes to my channel that I've been just aching for like 5 to 6 years for a while. Some of the information I'm getting today is coming from the Kitchen Medicine book. I have so many different like home apothecary, like herbal medicine cabinet type books, all about looking at the medicine that surrounds us, basically, and how to help ourselves. I am not saying to replace traditional Western medicine. Always consult with your doctor. That's what we got to say. Always consult with your doctor. I am not a doctor. I just know my body very well. And I know that how I respond to certain herbs, but you always have to kind of feel out your own body and see how you respond. So I thought the herb of the week, as I was just kind of tapping in, I was like, who wants to work with us this week? What energy are we embodying? What could we tap into? What could we meditate with or cook with or add to our medicine cabinet or perhaps a tea? And I came up with cranberry. So in here, you're probably like, those don't look like cranberries. They look white. Well, and they are cranberries. They're just covered in powdered sugar. Here's one that doesn't have the powdered sugar. Hey, a little cranberry friend. So if you are a part of my Patreon, then you'll know that the last live chat that we just had was this whole like baking extravaganza. I baked a pumpkin pie and fudge, and I had some hot chocolate that I made. I think we also made a tea. And these cranberry poppers, I call them. So basically, they're just cranberries soaked in orange soda for a while, and then you roll them in powdered sugar and bake them to make this like little pop. But if you're looking for the how-to, definitely go check out that Patreon video. So anyway, I'm gonna have a little popper while I talk about cranberry. Ta-da! Okay. So, magically speaking, our ancestors who grew up around cranberries, which I believe there's a type of cranberry that grows in Europe, but it's smaller than the North American cranberry. We grew up with big cranberries, and then, of course, there's different places that have cranberries, but those are the two that I know of really well. And so, because of their tart flavor and their ability to act as an astringent, and how people feel after ingesting the juice, once you smash them up and drink the juice, and it has similar properties to wine, actually, because of the tannins that they have. I don't believe they have resveratrol, which is what wine has, or our red grapes have. But it does have a lot of antioxidants. There's a lot of vitamin C that's in a cranberry. And so oftentimes like my native ancestors, they would take the cranberry and utilize it, especially during wintertime when a lot of cranberries are growing, is winter, and other places it might be in summer. But it helped to build the immune system. If your stomach wasn't feeling that great, just eating a bunch of cranberries, not sweetened cranberries, definitely not like I have them here, like powdered sugar cranberries, probably not going to settle your upset stomach. If you have a urinary tract infection, powdered sugar cranberry is probably not going to be the best. I'm talking about like just straight the way, nature made them cranberries. And since they also had that sour taste to them, they're used for protection. So oftentimes cranberries were placed like amongst the holly, which was also used for protection. They were placed amongst other foods, and it was thought that if it could protect our immune system and our bodies against illness, it could probably protect us against other forces like, malicious spirits and things like that. But medicinally speaking, pulling from this book, it says the name cranberry is obscure, though a plausible suggestion is that the early American colonists thought the folded back flowers and long single stamen resembled the neck of a crane and called the plant a craneberry. And now we call it a cranberry. Certainly, the Pilgrim Fathers arriving in North America in 1620 would have delighted in a native cranberry twice the size of its European cousins, and equally good to use. It combined well with local turkey meat and was soon a staple of Thanksgiving feasts as a sauce cooked with apples and honey to reduce its sharpness. Okay, using cranberry. All right. The bulk of the cranberry consumption today is as juice in both sweetened and unsweetened formats. The unsweetened is preferable for its better immune supporting qualities, and if you are calorie counting. Cranberries have a high vitamin C content and tannins that make them astringent, but crucially, they also contain arbutin. This chemical compound is antibiotic and diuretic with a special capacity to block E. coli in the urinary tract. It appears to cause a receptor blockage in the bladder walls so that harmful bacteria like E. coli are denied a foothold and are flushed harmlessly in the urine. This rare property underlies why cranberry juice is a classic treatment for cystitis, a very painful consequence of E. coli infecting the bladder. 2 glasses of cranberry juice a day, which is equivalent to 2 cups, are a significant adult dose to stop cystitis taking hold in a high-risk individual. In acute cases where infection is present, the dosage might be doubled for a few days. With all urinary tract infections, care should be taken. So your doctor. Let's see. One other thing about cranberry, laboratory trials suggest that cranberry juice will similarly block the harmful bacteria Helicobacter pylori, which can cause ulcers in the stomach and be effective against salmonella poisoning. Cranberry may help reduce prostate symptoms if its antioxidants, as has been proposed, can stop platelets in the blood gluing together. This would make blood clots less likely and hence prevent heart attack and stroke. Cranberry has also been used to reduce diarrhea and nausea and is well tolerated by people with diabetes mellitus. All right. And if you're looking for a way to incorporate cranberry in possibly a delicious way and not just using it, as protection around the home or possibly just drinking the cranberry juice, but maybe something a little bit more festive, you might want to think of cranberry raspberry shortbread. So it says, instead of drinking the cranberry juice, try this out. Cream 1 cup of butter and a half a cup of brown sugar until fluffy. Mix in 2.5 cups of flour to make a crumbly dough and add half a cup of dried cranberries and 1/4 cup raspberries, either fresh or thawed. Mix again and spread into a flat greased pan. Bake at 300 degrees Fahrenheit for half an hour. Always keep an eye on things. Everybody's at different elevations, so, it's always a guesstimated time. And then cool and cut into squares. So quick and simple and delicious. And, hopefully maybe you want to incorporate cranberry this week, or maybe going on into January, the whole month of January. I don't know. But also meditate with the energy as well. It's not just about eating it and drinking it. It's also connecting to the energy of it. I believe that everything in this world has energy because everything comes from our creator. And so connecting to that energy, we can listen to what else it has to share with us, what other medicine. And also, to build a working relationship, it has to be symbiotic. What can I offer, cranberry? How can I help, to help you to flourish, in the wild, so to speak? So, let me know what you might be working with this week, or if you're going to try to work with cranberry, or thinking of maybe something for the month of January, not just the week. Let's see. Oh, hold on. I got back. I'm behind a little bit. Shadowland says, oh, she had Instagrammed me a few pictures of her new teacup. Ooh, well, I will definitely have to check it out. Yay. See, Costalini said, I opened the fridge and looked at the cranberry pie, and the moment that you said that, cranberry apple, but like the synchronicity, dude. we're Everybody in this chat, we're like a simpatico. It's just a freaking amazeballs. I love that. Shadowland says cranberry is one of the fruits I can't stand. I think when it comes to cranberry, it's like either people really like it or they really dislike it, because it's super tart, and not everybody's into tart, which is why they like to temper it with like a lot more things that are sweet, like honey or sugar or brown sugar, or they mix it with apples or, other flavors. Like I had made some wassail also for Christmas. And I was just looking for some $2 Chuck wine. Really, I'm like, most of this alcohol is going to get burned off anyway. I don't want to use like a nice wine. So I just picked up some like cheap sangria, and I put some sliced oranges. There was apples. There were honey and a little bit of sugar. I had allspice and cloves. And I think I put a vanilla bean in there. I'm not sure. And there was cranberries, but and I think that all of those flavors together help take the bite out of the cranberry, and you just kind of got more of that sweetness, which some people might like. Let's see. Delisha is here. Hello. She says, hey, am I late? No, right on time. Says, why did I use the Christmas tree emoji? I mean, it's gone. Guess I'm holding up that energy, especially. Oh, you know what? This is the season. This is still a Christmassy season to me. So that Christmas tree is going to stay up for a while. I mean, it's an outdoor tree. We're not going to cut it down, but I mean, taking off the ornaments and everything, probably just leave them there for a while. Very happy Monday says greetings. Hello. And Katrina Ayuni says aloha agape. Hey. And then Katrina's got all of the pine trees plus Christmas tree, kind of like our forest here. So happy to see you guys. Okay. Let me put this away, and we'll get into what I've been wanting to tell you guys since we started this live chat, the changes to kittens, weights, and tarot. And then we'll get into our peace and prosperity spell that you guys had requested. Okay. Are you guys ready? All right. So firstly, I want to say that this has been a fabulous year, getting to know so many more of you guys, making friends with you guys, expanding our community, everybody helping everybody else. I love that. Sarah says, I'm new here. Hello, Sarah. Welcome. You're right on time for our announcement. Okay. And see, Katrina says, you're so beautiful. Thank you. Well, thank you. You are a beautiful soul as well. And everybody's like, how do you know we are beautiful? It's because I tap into your energies. I feel your soul. I may not see your faces, but I feel your souls. You guys are all beautiful. You're all amazeballs. So thank you to everybody who comes into our live chats, who watches the videos, interacts, who sent me emails with suggestions for my channel, sometimes just to strike up a conversation. And I think you guys are all so wonderful. Thank you. Thank you to all of the subscribers. Like this was the year we hit over 11,500 and some subscribers. Like, wow. Thank you. And for my YouTube members, thank you guys so much. Kayla and Nancy and Jonathan Cleese, Jolene, Duality Tales, Sea Captain 8611, Costalini. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And to my patrons, Lily and Dana and Jamie and Kayla, Sugna Baby, Brandy, Brian, Palu, Crystal, Easy Does It, Joel, Linda, Casey Gritter, Oz, and Ashley. Thank you, thank you, thank you to all of the new members this year, all of the members that have continued the journey with me this year. It's been amazing. It's been quite a year. It's like, it feels like 5 years have passed, but at the same time, it feels like, oh, 2025 just started like a week ago. It's like this weird, a lot's happened, but also it went by extremely fast. I don't know. It's quite dualistic. Okay, so changes for the channel. For the past, I don't know, 5, 6, maybe 7 years more. I don't know. As you guys know, like I'm always making, teas, right? I have, oh, actually, maybe I'll go take you guys over in just a minute to go see my herbal like shelf that I made with Riley's help, getting it in from the thrift store. It looks amazeballs. I love it. And my little tea station and everything, but I love herbs. I love making stuff with herbs. I love incorporating them into food, into salves, into poultices. I like making stuff for my hair, my skin. I like creating incense blends like this one, which we're going to burn in a bit. Actually created that one with you guys near Yule. And I like using them for healing purposes. I like using them for meditation. I like identifying plants and trees out in the forest. I like identifying animals. I like tracking animals. I like just really noticing the smaller and smaller worlds around me, and sometimes really looking up and seeing the bigger world around me. And I'm very much a little forest creature, that's kind of why I got that cabin in the middle of the freaking forest over there, just to like be, I don't know, just be amongst all creation. It's, and sometimes I feel that with hearing traffic and being in certain parts of like bigger cities, it's harder for me to hear my own heartbeat, let alone the voice of my own intuition. And so for me, it's a very peaceful place to go to. And I know some people, that's why they go off to the park, or they take little treats or retreats places, or they go camping to kind of get back to that just stillness. And some people can create that in their very home. They don't have to go out somewhere. Some people just have like a little plant that I look up because there's a few little plants in the windowsill there, and they can just be with that plant and they just find that stillness. And I feel that, reconnecting to all of these things, although they are outside of ourselves, helps us to understand the things that are within ourselves, that we are the tree, we are the elements, we are all of these things, because we all come from the creator. And so I want to incorporate more of that into this channel. I want to make videos where I'm going off into the forest and we can like make something together, or I could show you something really cool that, is often overlooked when people are just like, doo, 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 trekking through and not really paying attention to like some of the smaller things. I thought it would be really fun. So here's a list that I have of like some ideas. I just been like in brainstorm mode for future videos, future live chats, that I could do. So let me know what you guys think, by the way. Let's see. I need to go back here. Doot, doot, doot. Delisha says, is the weekly tarot done? More like, well, I'll tell you, because it's just different. That's what I could say. Using the same intuition, just differently, you know. Let's see. It's me. It says, hello, everyone. New here. Welcome, welcome, my friend. Hello, hello, hello. And Katrina said, same, facts. Oh, and the phone is glitchy. It says, please, everyone, stay safe, be yourselves, and see them by their fruits. Yes. Yes. And Shadowlands says, I'm wanting to get some information on folk witchcraft of Poland, France, Northern Germany, and England. So I'm just starting out my research journey for my craft. Ah, very nice. And Katrina said, hail Odin and Freya. Cannabis and cinnamon is my favorite. Well, speaking of Miss Mary, she's off to the side right now. Delisha says, that sounds interesting and fun. So excited. Lilith says, heard connecting to ferns will be beneficial in 2026 to calm our nerves and ground ourselves by being in close approximation to them. You know what? There's a place, as we go a little further east here, there's so many ferns that kind of like blanket the whole forest floor. And so I would love to take you guys out there and make a video and, connect to the ferns that are in my area. So that's wonderful. I love that. And Delisha said, super chats when? We will do super chat, super stickers after our peace and prosperity spell / prayer. Yeah, so we'll get to them today. No worries. Sarah says that her mother passed away. I am so sorry to hear that. I send you my condolences and healing energy to you and your family. I know that there were quite a few people who lost people this year. So I think that as we do our peace and prosperity spell, and as we do kind of like a little group prayer, put those prayers out to people who have lost someone, because we've all lost, I think, in some way this year, losing beliefs, groups of friends, circles, and sometimes physically people. So again, I'm very sorry for your loss. Let's see, Katrina says, I found an ancient stone pipe in Stanton at the base of a stump next to our house, the tree, holly tree. It was growing up through the concrete. Oh, wow. So perseverance. I love that. Delisha said, so sorry to hear that, Sarah. Sending you lots of healing and hugs, my friend. Very happy Mondays. Also sending some healing. Lilith says, someone once compared me to a fern when he told me I had an ancient soul. Well, dude, I like that. Heck yeah. Ferns are freaking amazing. It's me says, Sarah, so sorry for you, sending love and light to you and your family. Thank you guys so much. Okay, so here were some of the ideas for Kittens, Weights, and Tarot continuing our journey, moving forward. There we go. Which also means I would like to, and I have been wanting to change the name of Kittens, Weights, and Tarot for a while, because I know that it is such a long name. Like people trying to type kittensweightsandtarot.com into the computer, I know is forever, or trying to find me on Instagram. They're like at Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. And, so I know it's a long name. And although I still love these things, I feel more pulled towards my very herbally, greeny, foresty, loving to make and craft and bake and cook. Like that's me, and I also want to incorporate more of my native background as well. And I know that I already do that to some degree, but I feel like that could flourish more in, creating of medicines and foods, because that's kind of what my relatives did. My grandfather, who was an abolario from Cebu, Philippines, he created things with herbs, and then he would use like Catholic prayers kind of mixed in with like those herbal mixtures that he would make to kind of help heal people. I have my Nana, which was his wife, and her mother and her mother's mother, coming from the Akme Oadam, so the Pima, um, also all about healing and working with herbs and being in nature and close to the water, and even my mother's side as well, like her her grandmother was from Ireland, and they brought along a lot of their folk medicine, kind of all tied in with Catholicism as well. And so it was, I had a very unique upbringing, but I want to bring in more of my heritage, my beliefs connected to you know basically the forest, the nature that surrounds us. So anyway, here were my brainstormed ideas, and of course they're ideas, so I am open to other suggestions and ideas, and also if you guys have names for the channel, that would be great. But I kind of wanted something that reflects my affinity for the forest and my native heritage, so something mixed in with that. um Well, this is does an arms wave in Fern. Yes, I love that. Um, let's see. Katrina said, I sat there for a good hour, Indian style, on the sawed off stump. I started noticing the tree started streaming or screaming about the stump. I felt the pipe, not noticing. I found it after. Um, I thought it was part of an engine block. It's made of stone. Washington State old growth forest. You can eat deer clover, by the way. Wow. Wow. That's awesome. Sounds beautiful where you live. And then, hey, everybody, John is here. What's up? He says, hello, no elf hat. I know, dude. I totally left it in the other room. I'm a bad elf. Bad elf. Okay, so here's some of the ideas. So I was thinking doing some forest DIYs, like going out making videos, collecting some, supplies from the forest, and then creating something like a picture frame, or maybe I'd make some jewelry, or who knows what I could make, really. Maybe a little fairy table. I don't know, just like fun DIYs. We'll just let the spirit move us. Oh, hey, John, ask and you shall receive. All right. Just your friendly neighborhood forest elf here. I want to talk about gardening. Of course, my gardening advice would be for those living in a 7B zone, which for me, I'm at an elevation close to 7,000 feet, getting all 4 seasons, very short growing season. But, I do want to talk about that. I want to talk about, gardening, even if you don't have, let's say, acreage. We can all get like a little potted plant, it doesn't have to be something huge. It could be like a little herb. Maybe you want to grow some basil or whatever it is that grows in your area. And we can, bring that indoors, so you don't have to have a massive garden. I want to be able to talk on all respects, whether we're just like growing in little pots, or we have, a whole freaking backyard that we could utilize, or acreages. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about utilizing the elements, and for understanding ourselves. I want to talk about making salves and poultices and teas, and I want to do kind of more of that. I guess I already do that, but I want to do more of that. I want to incorporate more of my sewing. I think really what I'm trying really to push for is something that I've done, which was the reason that I did tarot in the first place, really, and reading oracles and things like that, was because not and I've never been somebody who's like, I want to tell somebody's future, because I don't believe it's set in stone. There's all these different timelines. We have free will. And I feel it's very limiting to say X, Y, and Z will happen, cuts us off to any and all other possibilities. So the reason I had done it was to show people that we can get in touch with that inner voice, in touch with our soul. Where's our soul? Come from our creator. And so the more we are in touch with that, the more that we can hear basically the voice of God, or whatever name you have for him. But you know, so the things that I want to show are based on sovereignty. They're quiet projects of coming back to the self, you know, whether it's an art project or a DIY or sewing or how to make a salve or how to make a tea or something. It's reconnecting to the self, reconnecting to the know-how, reconnecting to the soul, and helping to build one's confidence and sovereignty, so that we're not led astray by all these, you know, outside voices that say, oh, you don't know how to do that yourself, here, let me just do it for you because it's easier, you know. And it's very easy for us to get duped, used in that way. And I don't want you guys to be duped. I don't want other people to use you, because you are all such wonderful people with good intentions. You have so much to share with the world. So I just want to help show you how to do certain things just from my own little perspective. I'm not saying that my way is the highway, but just maybe to offer inspiration into helping you to do a little bit more by yourself, and a little bit more reconnecting to the soul within. So that's kind of like the whole reason, really. Let's see. Lila says, little fairy houses, and bring them back into the forest for the fairies to live in. See, that's what I want to do, man. I want to grab fairy materials or forest materials, make little fairy houses, little fairy tables or something, put them back out for the forest to enjoy, or perhaps even for the animals. I don't know. You know, I want to do stuff like that. I think it would be great. And let's see. Oh, Katrina says, my friends call me Kat. Don't ever forget them, and I live to make them proud every day. Aw. Well, I will call you Kat then. And Katrina said, hear all the best, be safe, miss you, Mom. Yay for kitties. We all have met and meet, and we will meet again. Yes, we will. And then she said, Shrines, Spirited Away, best anime ever. And later's meow. Well, you have a great day then. And she said, Laguna Beach Library has a fairy garden out front. They have 2 of the coolest trees outside. Laguna Beach, dude, I had a really good friend of mine. I call her my Filipino mom. She lived in Laguna Beach, so I've spent a lot of time out there. Beautiful, beautiful freaking city. Let's see. Shadowland says, I'm also starting to try and get a relationship going with my house brownie. In Celtic mythology, brownies are elves, gnomes that if you treat them right can be helpful, but if you ignore or mistreat them, they'll be more mischievous. You know, my grandmother told me that her mother and her grandmother told her something about that when they came over from Ireland, about the wee people, the little people, and that you could leave out like little treats for them, for the little spirits, that they believed that every home had a spirit to it, a soul to it, and sometimes it was just like an amorphous spirit. Sometimes they thought that meant it was like the little people. So that's interesting that you bring that up. It reminds me of my grandma. And Lilith says, I will need to send you the sewing progress I've made. So many yards of fabric. Oh, yes, yes, please do. My little sewing heart. Kat says, you remind me of my friend Tanya in a way. I miss her. She is still here, I think. I hope. Mucho loves. Bye. All right. Well, you have a great rest of your day. I hope that you have the best start to 2026. So I hope you have a very happy new year. John says, don't thank the elves. Oh, well, you know, elves. I'm like, the elven, to me, aren't small. They feel like they're very large energies. I don't know. I can't explain it, but interesting. Kat says, seriously, I was a Salvation Army brownie. Really? You know what? I dig the Salvation Army. I think they are pretty good. I it used to be my thing that every year it's like whatever I had on me, around Christmas time, whatever cash I had on me, and I saw one of the bell ringers or somebody working for the Salvation Army was like, you get whatever. That's like my donation, is whatever's in the wallet. See, Delisha says, do elves really exist or is it just a theory? I believe that there are a lot of different types of energy that reside in, fourth dimension, fifth dimension, all of these things. And, there's a lot that we just don't see with our 3D eyes. I believe in, different elementals and forest beings and home spirits and, all of that. So I think it's a very magical world that has been created here, not just with what we can physically see, other animals and people and trees, but there's the unseen that's been created as well. And I think that it's wonderful. And sure, there's light and shadow and everything, but being able to recognize light from shadow and recognizing what's beyond our five senses can be really fun. So other things that I would like to incorporate to this channel is more like how-tos, like practical how-tos, like how to change a tire. Sometimes we're stranded on the side of the road and not everybody has AAA or a friend to hop out and be like, okay, I'm gonna like change your tire for you. So like little things like that, things that I kind of had to learn when I was, in my little off-grid cabin, how to fix my headlight if it went out in my Jeep. I was also having an issue when I had my truck, or basically I was just replacing the air filters, but it's like little stuff like that where it's pretty easy to do, but we're not always taught how to do those things. And so we end up paying like somebody $100 or $200 for something that we could have paid, $10 in parts and 5 minutes for our time to fix. So I think like incorporating little things like that is going to be really helpful as well. Kat says, yes, I have my dad's elf ears. Aw, I love that. Shadowland says, but if you thank elves, they'll think the relationship is over. Ooh, I did not know that. And John said, spirits of place. Yes, I think it takes a different way of looking at things to be able to understand them. Yeah, lateral points of view. And then Kat said 155, 77%, 15577. It says if you're good to them, you have loyals for life. Ride or die. Okay, other things. Well, I talked about baking, cooking, certain healing foods, like if you're feeling a kind of a ways, there are like teas you could have or things that you could eat that would, help alleviate some of that pain or fatigue. I also want to create more magical jewelry like I've done in the past. Like these earrings I created during a live chat at one point. So I want to do more of that. Maybe some watercolor because I do love painting. Maybe a little bit of the off-grid adventures as I maybe stop procrastinating and start working on my cabin again. I would like to take you guys there with me. And if I go traveling oot and a boot, I want to be able to talk about my travels and, maybe some new tree friends and plant and animal friends I might run into on my travels and perhaps what their messages may be. What are they trying to show us? Maybe I might go out camping and I want to take you guys camping with me. And, what happens if it starts raining and you're out camping? What happens if certain things get wet? I don't know, just like little survival things, I guess, to make your camping experience more fun. Just little tips here and there. Also want to do a little bit more storytelling. Some people said they really like whenever on my channel I've done like storytelling hour. I think that would be really fun, especially telling some of the stories and myths of like my ancestors, or maybe stories surrounding certain animals or certain plants. I thought that would be really fun. Playing more music, so not only playing my flute back there, but maybe doing more singing. Still, I wouldn't say that I'm great at a guitar or even a diddly bow. So maybe one day. But maybe other things like my drum, or even my tongue drum. I think that would be a lot of fun. Maybe making an archery video, that could be cool. Oh, and also talking about foraging, maybe some ecosystem knowledge, plant tree identification, all that stuff I told you guys. Tracking animals, not to hunt them, but just so you kind of know who's in your area and connecting to them. But I don't know, what do you guys think? Like, that's the direction I want to take my channel. Just forest, self-sufficient, one with the animals, kind of thing. I think it would just be a lot of fun. And I, like I said, I am open to suggestions for a name that would hold the energy of that which I wanted to create, that I just expressed to you guys. So, and then that would of course be the name of the website. I want to redo the website and everything. So Delisha was asking, does that mean the end of like weekly readings? Like for me, like let's say for our live chat, if I was saying like cranberry is the, medicine of the week, we can also tap into its energy. Like, what does cranberry want to share with us? Not only its medicinal value and its ability to make some of our foods rather delicious, but what does cranberry itself have to say? And there are messages in that. There's messages in the trees. There's messages in the wind, and all of that comes from the divine. So I feel like where my intuition really shines. I know people enjoy my reading for others, which I love reading for you guys. I love channeling for you guys, but I think how I started off, because I want to go back to my roots. How I started off was really just connecting and reading the wind, reading the trees, reading the animals, and understanding what the creator is trying to tell me through them, and so I want to get back to those roots. And as much as I love my cards because they have beautiful pieces of art, I want to be able to show that we don't necessarily need those things to be able to connect to the soul. And I know that you guys know this, and I know not everybody uses cards, and but I want to connect in the way that I used to, and I kind of left it behind when my little magpie self was like, "Ooh, pretty pictures," and it was like such a delight for my intuition. I love it so much, but it's like the moment I step outside and my foot hits rocks or dirt or whatever, it's like I'm just picking up information from everywhere. It just like the world is alive. And so I want to share it with you guys. So I hope that makes sense. So that means for my Patreon, I've already I made a post with the different tier levels, how I was going to redo them. So I would like to go over, like, let's say, the first tier of Patreon. I didn't really make big changes. It's just kind of tweaking the theme just a little bit, but still trying to provide lots of offerings for my Patreon friends. Let's see. Let me go back a little bit. Delisha says, completing my practical file, 3 hours, still not completed. My hands and neck are gone now. Oh no. Remember, get up, walk around, have a drink of water, do a little stretch. Don't worry, it will pass. This too shall pass. Kat says, low chi expected, Lokis. You know what? My little Bombay cat used to be named Loki. I love Loki and Wally. Very Happy Monday says, like farm to table, but forest to garden table. Yeah, kind of like that. This is something like sowing seeds, but not so literal. Exactly. So there's going to be like the literal and metaphorical spiritual kind of mixed all into that. John says, magic and enchanted items are always fun to make. That's what I want to do more of, because I'm always been an artsy craftsy kind of person like my whole life. Even before I could walk, I'm pretty sure I was doing arts and crafts. Kat says, I knew things were going to change. No one wanted to listen. Here we are. Here we are. Very Happy Monday says, oot and a boot. And Kat says, true armor of God is self-love. Lilith says, ooh, and did you hear the song I sent? I did. I'm sorry, Lilith, that I hadn't responded yet. I felt like such a bad friend. I'm like, I I have all these things that I want to say. So I promise that before the end of the day today, I'll send you back an email. But I really love that song. And I was wondering if you made that song, because that song was really good. I was like, I listened to it like 3 or 4 times. Like, I love that song. Kat says, Natural Born Killer is a movie. Love Can Kill a Demon. And L7 Shite List. That's a song. Oh, all right. Well, I'll definitely go check it out. Delicia says, ooh, that's creativity with intuition, girl. I'm doing readings with things itself. So talented. And Costalini says, you can always pop out the cards when you feel inspired to use them, whatever you feel inspired to do. Yes, I know. So I'm getting rid of my cards because it's like, I feel like I'd be tossing away art and I don't want to do that. But yeah, I want to be able to be more fluid. Like, okay, instead of like this channel only like makes forest DIYs. Like I want to be able to do everything in the realm of sovereignty and things, mostly through art, that help connect back to the soul. That's really, I guess, the gist of it. Helping to empower people to find the intuition within. Kat says, subbed, phone is being poopy. Got to go. Bye for meow. And I love all of your emojis. Those are awesome. Lilith says, Tara, bottom line, do what makes you happy and it will attract whomever feels inclined to want to follow the content. And we're here to cheer you on whichever way you want to move in your digital life. Well, thank you, Lilith. Thank you. Thank you. And, I was talking about that with Riley, that I said, I know that anytime, even if I've made small changes to my channel, even when I moved to Arizona, that there were some people that were just upset that I moved from California to Arizona. I didn't change my content really. It was just, they didn't like the new state I was in. So we can't please everybody. And I know that. And I know that energy is just attracted to energy. So I'm hoping that you guys enjoy some of the new stuff I create. And I know it's not going to be perfect at first. Nothing is perfect at first. Nothing is ever perfect, really. It's all just a work in progress. But I know that there will be some people that are like, it's not for me. And that's totally cool. I'm not trying to hold you guys for ransom or anything. And there's going to be some people who are like, I totally dig that. And that's cool too. I'm just stoked you guys are along for the ride, Kat says, and the hat's so cute. You really love lives. I do. I love hanging out with you guys. It's like one of my favorite things in the week. Kat said, thank you so much. Lilith says, I covered it, but didn't write it, but it's me playing and singing. I thought so. You're amazeballs, girl. You are amazeballs. Like, I'm not trying to blow smoke up your tailpipe. You're really good. That was really good. Very Happy Monday says, Terra Terrestrial. Ooh, extraterrestrial. That could be the name of my channel. Kat says, the borrowers go. John's like, ew, change. Oh, I know, right? I don't want to change. Please, the world don't change. Kat says, and yes, Happy New Year, world. I love you. Costalini says, sometimes you got to change directions to see someone who needs the new message can find it. Exactly. Like if I'm always doing the same old thing, how am I supposed to help other people? How am I supposed to reach other people if I don't change? And by the way, the world shows us that change is inevitable. We can't stop change. So why would I stop the change of myself, Okay. So let's see. I have like little PDFs. If I think Riley has the PDFs of my different tiers for Patreon. Oh, there it is. So there is the very first tier for Patreon. So I have like 5 or 6 different tiers, but just so you guys can see, so some of you guys are my patrons and maybe you already got this, but for everybody else who's not a patron, just so you could see like what I am changing over there if you were thinking about being a patron. So my base tier is going to be called Coyote and Raven, and that's like my $1 tier. So I have a chat that's like a Patreon chat that we can share photos, we can do a little chat, so they have access to that. Also, once a month, I'm going to be doing a storytelling style video. Incorporating whatever the plant is of the month or the animal is of the month, just something related to that. I thought that would be a lot of fun. Also, if you're a patron or a YouTube member, there are discounts for my online shop. So little perks. Also, there's a weekly enchanted blog that I do kind of going along with just, I don't know, whatever my forest adventures are, maybe a little DIY, maybe a recipe, maybe, who knows, I fell into a rabbit's hole and I found Alice in Wonderland. Who knows? Also, I usually did like monthly guided meditations, but I want to do more musical meditations because I am a musical mofo. I've been singing all my life. And, I was even a professional opera singer. I love to sing. And when I'm not singing, I love listening to music. I like just making music, making sound, so I thought that would be really good for meditations as well, incorporating and helping myself with the throat chakra that I've been working on. And of course, they have access to all the Q&A polls and videos and surveys and things that I have. So all of that for my $1 Mekihala tier, my Coyote and Raven. Okay. I also have my next tier, which was my crystal tier, but it's like my $3 tier, and those are my wanderers. And so the wanderers, every month I used to do like a crystal grid, but I was thinking of making like a cool design, like a grid with either my herbs or to do a painting or drawing of an animal. But basically it would be focusing on the flora or fauna of that month, the medicine of the month. And so I'm just like looking. So yeah, so they get everything that the $1 tier gets, but the flora and fauna medicine of the month is tailored to them. So I'd be kind of tapping into their collective energy and, okay, what do they need? What are, who's coming forward for that? And maybe it would be chipmunk or something like that. So it's like, okay, so chipmunk energy, what herbs go along with chipmunk's message? What, rock, stones, crystals would go along with that. What other, just anything surrounding chipmunk's message, and why do we need to utilize chipmunk's energy and tapping into it for the month? So I thought that would be really good for our wanderers. And of course, they would also get some weekly posts connected to that main theme of the month. So let's say chipmunk might be connected with calming a busy mind, so maybe I might do like a meditation, of 1 week for them. And maybe the next week I might even do like a beautiful painting of chipmunk, or maybe what parts of the body chipmunk is connected to. And so maybe we can focus on those for healing, or maybe there's an energetic reason chipmunk is coming in, perhaps for shadow work or whatever it may be. So, we would find different ways to connect to them. But yeah, that would be for my $3 tier. And then moving to the third tier, I believe that's my live chat tier. That's going to stay the same. it's going to stay live chat. It's always been live chat. And I've always done a lot of different things for that. So it's that really not much is changing for the live chat tier. I just kind of changed the name of it. Instead of the live chat crew, it's just Spider Woman Weaves a Live Chat. And that's just kind of bringing in, again, some of my native background, and different mythological aspects that are connected to some of the stories and the heritage of my background. One of those is a Spider Woman. So there's a myth that talks about, trying to figure out how things were created, and they said that it was akin to things being created in a spider's web. How things are just so delicate and intricate, yet there's a beautiful design to it. And so Anyway, so I thought that's fun, because like live chat, we're creating, so that's what made me think of Spider Woman. And so I might be talking about gardening, magical DIYs, sewing, maybe off grid living, outdoor know how, things like that. Just, I don't know, whatever, whatever Forrest moves us to do for that. But that is my little $10 tier. Okay, let's see. The fourth tier, I believe is my $15 tier. And that originally was my Love and Light tier. So it was like once a year I would do an energetic healing. And I still want to do that. I'm just changing it a bit. So I call it White Wolf medicine now because I am working a lot with White Wolf, and literally White Wolf is following me, which is great. And that was like the energy I saw when I first moved onto my property was the spirit of White Wolf. But it stays the same. Once a year, there will be a personal 1 hour healing session, basically cleansing session. But I want to do it in using the grounding and clearing techniques of the Akmel Odam, the Pima, which is my background, and just for helping us to get ready for whatever the new year is. So this would be for when we are exiting 2026 and going into 2027. So basically at the end of each calendar year, I would like to do this for everybody who's at the $15 tier and above, to basically clear mind, body, and soul, so we just start fresh and new into the new year. And also just it's a way of just keeping certain Native traditions alive. So I thought that would be a lot of fun. Okay, and then after that tier 5, I guess tier 5, that is the Muse of the Mountain tier, and that was my $25 tier, and I would once a month do a reading for them. It still is a reading in a way. So like I said, I am not making like massive changes. I've just tweaked things a little bit. So the Muse of the Mountain, the reason I say mountain is because my property is literally on a mountain. I live in the White Mountains, but I love to, I believe that people channel when they create music, when they create art. Sometimes they channel when they're cooking, and it's, just the divine working through them. And so instead of doing like a tarot reading for my $25 tier, I want to be able to channel for them, but I love to write poetry. So I was like, I would love to channel a poem for them, just like connect to the muse and just boom, a poem just for them based on their personal energy. So this is for each individual at that tier. So it's their personal poem. And I believe that there'd be so many messages for them within that poetry, just like when we come across poems in other books and we just know that it was kind of meant for us in a way. So it's their personal poem. Plus I want to channel them a song. Yes, I would make a song literally every month personally just for them. Maybe I would be singing in it. I'm not sure. Maybe I just might be playing some instruments. But it's based on what they need in terms of their healing, what messages they need to hear, what they need for their personal journey. I would just tap into their energy and then create that song for them and just allow them, because again, I want to be in more of this fluid state. So I don't want to be so rigid where I'm like, okay, here's this and you can only do this with this. It's like, okay, so here's this beautiful song. It was created with your energy in mind. You do with it what you will, or this poem, or however you want to utilize it. So again, I think it's just opening for more ways for us to help ourselves. And then my final tier, which is my VIP tier, is my $50 tier. Those are the keepers of the medicine. And so that one is probably the one that actually changed. So what I had done before was a spirit guide reading each month, connecting to a spirit guide. But then I thought, well, if I am, loving to channel all this art and everything, and I love making things, why couldn't I channel a handmade item for them, so maybe it would be a piece of jewelry, maybe I'd make you some earrings or a necklace, or maybe I might make a beautiful picture frame, or I might make something that you could utilize in your everyday life, and but it would be with you in mind, what you need, your energy. And I thought that would be just way more fun, something that you can have tactile in your hands. And I would mail it to them every month, just a small item every month. And also as a thank you for their support. So what do you guys think? That's how I feel like the new tiers of Patreon could be. Like I said, of course, I'm still in the process of talking to a friend of mine to figure out how to like overhaul the website, and I still got to figure out a name and everything. But I love this. I love that there's going to be these changes. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited because I'm like, heck yeah! There's this beautiful freaking forest like right there. My property is also in a beautiful freaking forest, and it's like I want to be there, bringing you guys in there with me. Let's utilize it. Let's do it. So okay, let me look back at your comments, as I missed some of them. Willis says it's too late. The smoke has blown up my tailpipe. Thank you. You're very welcome, my friend. A very happy Monday says you reminded me of Elliot. Oh my gosh. I haven't seen that in a long time. So cool. Delisha says, as Lord Krishna says, everything is uncertain in this universe. Only change is certain. Yes. The only certainty is that nothing is certain. Lilith says, if people don't want to follow you, it sounds like a them problem. Evolution, baby. Talking about an evolution, yeah, for my channel. And Kat says they are one of the few churches that really helped. Their spiritual leaders are called captains. My screen name on most platforms, and she was showing her screen name, and not self-promoting, but proven shadow banning. I have been shadow banned. I lost count how many times. I was just on a shadow ban on Instagram. They put me out of timeout now. I'm back out of timeout. So I'm going to find a way to put myself back on the naughty list and get back on timeout because I don't follow the rules. John says, new channel name? Yes, I need your guys' help. Like, I don't know. We're going to be doing so many like different DIY, artsy, foresty, help yourself, let's change a tire kind of things. I don't know what to call my channel. So yes, I call upon you guys. I ask you. Delisha says, I started my meditation journey by listening to mantras, then reciting also, still doing it. I keep water also as it collects and stores the energy with Adaya or rishis used to keep water. And John says, chipmunk is cheeks, right? That's what my mom used to call me chipmunk cheeks, because I used to store food in my cheeks when I didn't want to eat it at the dinner table, but you couldn't leave the dinner table till you finish all your food. So I figured, well, I could just store it all in my cheeks and then go spit it out later. So that was chipmunk cheeks. Kat says, Ghost in the Shell, Project 2501 and Project 626. So blessed. Thank you so much. Well, says, I turned into a chipmunk second time this year when I bought another batch of chestnuts last week. Nice. Kat says, my grandpa beat up a dude for abusing chipmunks. He was a logger, fed them out of his lunchbox. Who would abuse chipmunks? Like, seriously, anybody who would abuse anybody, like whether, I don't care if it's a person, an animal, a tree, like, yeah, I don't, I'm not all about that. Let's see. Kat says, he had a heart attack. The man that replaced him didn't like sharing, or maybe couldn't afford to. He cut their tails off. Oh my gosh. Serenity now. That is awful. My grandpa beat the tar out of him. Mom said it was, the only time she saw him mad, the only time she saw him cry was when my Uncle Melvin was hit by a car. He made it home. he made it home to never make it home. Navy strong, Gold Star mother, 2275. Oh, wow. My goodness. Well, some people, it's like when you see an injustice or a wrongdoing, we got to step up. I think that a lot of times maybe it's just my society, but it could be in other societies as well. It's like when somebody sees something that is wrong, it's like we stop ourselves because, I don't know, maybe we've been taught like, oh, we don't get involved in other people's business, or I'll rather just like take out my cell phone and video record than, do the right thing. And I don't know where that came from, that we don't get into other people's business. Like, I understand that there could be a shadow side to that, like being a busybody and you're like always up in people's faces and getting in their business when they don't want you into their business. But sometimes it's like, you see somebody who is in need. I don't care if it's an animal or a person or what. It's our duty as human beings, as part of a collective consciousness. If we're all one, that means helping them is helping me, and vice versa. That's me they're hurting, that's me they're abusing over there. And I think that if we could see ourselves in others, we wouldn't have this detachment, just like we have detachment with the forest. Like, oh, that's the forest, but I'm a human. I don't belong in there. Dude, you are the forest. Like, you are a part of this whole like creation process here. So yes, it is our duty to stand up and fight injustices, to stand up for those who cannot stand up for themselves, or when you see somebody asserting their power over another in order to dominate and scare or frighten, whatever, like, yeah, then it's our business. um let's see, Kat says, I love you, world. She's like, fire. Delisha says, we trust you, always going to support you and be on your side, so go for it. Woo woo. Kat's also got the Statue of Liberty. I love it. And says, yeah, still here, but going, yeah. I save my cards too, and they are people's art. Yeah, it's like, instead of buying like one piece of art from a particular indie artist, you can like buy like 40 pieces of art. That's also why I like cards too. And even when I had my old maid cards when I was younger, I just like looking at the pictures, I was just like, oh, and then it's like my intuition would just start working. But I really love art. I love seeing other people's heart expression, expressed in whatever way it was that they were expressing, either through painting or sculpture or photography. I like it. I dig it. Lilith says, Wolf Woman, as a reference to a woman who runs with wolves. Read that book, which encompasses a lot of which you like to expand towards. Yes, and I've been connecting to White Wolf like so hardcore, and I've always had such a connection with birds too, especially hawk. Like, hawk is like my bird. Hawk and wolf. Every happy Monday, says Tara. Earth and sky. TES. Yes. Kat says art is everything. Yes, everything. All right. On that note, and I'm so glad you guys are digging the idea of where I'm going to be moving my channel to. It's it's still me. I'm still me. I'm still my weird, quirky self. I just get to express a side to you that I've only done in like little bits here and there, because like I said, I got caught in a routine of well, I started the channel as a tarot reader. It's like, well, I always got to do tarot reading. And it was even like, I was even nervous when I started doing channeling, because that's something I always did too. And then I put that on the channel, and then it was like, okay, well, now I can only do channeling and tarot reading, but I know that there's so many other ways to connect to energy and to help people, and to spread light and everything. And I'm like, I have other parts of me, and I want that to be here on this channel too. I want to grow too, just as much as I want to help you guys grow as well. So that means I have to change if I want to help you guys in your evolution of your journeys. So I'm glad you guys are here with me. Let's see. Lilith says, White Wolf Woman. Yes. I like that. I like that. Kat says, I knew a group that gathered to discuss the book Women Who Run with Wolves. Yeah, I remember I got that book probably like 12 or 13 years ago. And yeah, when I read it, I was like, dude, I think that was like at the start of my getting back into my spirituality because I had, well, you know, we all have our traumas and our shadows to work through, and I had some stuff to work through surrounding just spirituality in general. You know, connecting to spirit, you know, my soul. And that book actually was one of the things that I read, along with what's his name? His last name's Dyer, and he wrote a book called Real Magic. I think is Wayne Dyer or Dwayne Dyer, Wayne Dyer. Yeah, I read that book. So those were the two books I read, and it was like, ooh, and I just like started on this like whole journey. um, a very happy Monday says TEAS. Ooh, yeah. We can have like an acronym, TEAS. That would be great. Kat says, that was over 25 years ago. I now live less than a mile from there. Oh, wow. Wow. Um, Lilith's like, wait. White Wolf Weaver. Ooh. I love the alliteration that you're coming up with. Like, I totally dig it. I'm like, okay. And I like the acronyms. Very Happy Mondays was coming up with too. Kat says hashtag Black Sheep White Buffalo. That's a mouthful, but you know what? I love that too. I love it. You guys are freaking amazeballs. That's why I hang with you homies. Okay, so let me move some of this off to the side. And I'm going to point the camera down because I want to finally get to what you guys voted on for this live chat. And that's that peace and prosperity spell and prayer. So, ooh, I forgot I had my cranberries here. Okay, peace and prosperity, homies. Come, look down here on my floor. Cat saying hello. Okay, so I have some things here. Let me show you these things. First is my tea. I'm just going to have it here, so it's not actually part of the thing, but I'm thirsty. Okay, so for this peace and prosperity spell and prayer, I am using a white candle for purity, for cleansing, for new beginnings, for protection, all of that, you know. And sometimes people use candles for like non-colored candles where it's just like a plain white candle for really anything, you know. It's like whatever you inscribe in it or whatever your intention is. You don't like specifically need a certain color, but you can if you want to. I mean, color is art too, but so I'm just going to use a simple white candle. I figured that would be great. And I have this oil blend that was created for me from a woman named Erin that runs a shop called The Hidden Grove in Idlewild, California. And so I have this. I'm going to use a little drop of this on here, but I have olive oil as well. So I'm going to coat it in olive oil to make it nice and sticky. Olive oil. Also, when you think of the olive leaf or the olive branch, symbol of peace, right? Hence the olive oil. See, I'm thinking here. All right. I have a bay leaf here too, or I have bay leaf because I want to be able to write what your keyword, each of you guys, your keywords for 2026. So although this is for peace and prosperity, just, you know, let's say, you know, you're surrounded in the energy of peace and prosperity. What else, if you boil it down to a keyword, what else do you want for 2026? Maybe it is just peace. Maybe it is just prosperity. Maybe it's self-love. Maybe it's connection. Maybe, you know, whatever your keyword is, we'll put it on a little bay leaf and we'll light it on fire because again, how I like to use fire and smoke and the reason a lot of natives use fire and smoke is because it's purifying, it's cleansing. You'll even see it in like the Bible and other ancient texts like water, fire. It's all seen as like a form of cleansing or even types of a baptism, you know, a renewal. And so I want to use bay for that, kind of let the fire bring the smoke, our prayers, our wishes, and let them rise to the heavens. I also have some passion flower here. Passion flower is also a very calming type herb. Here, let me show you guys. Used often for sleep if you're having trouble sleeping. But I thought it does a really good representation of peace, serenity. And bay is also really good for prosperity, hence why I wanted to use bay. Okay, and then my roses. So I talked about the roses earlier in the chat. Some of these are from like my old house, and some are new roses that I've dried out. But rose, really good for, I think when it comes to really anything, at the heart of light is love, right? God is love, creator, love, center of the universe, love. Everything created out of love. And so the peace and prosperity come from love. So I thought that would be really good to incorporate the roses here. Lila says you need a marker. I do actually. I need a permanent marker, maybe like a black permanent marker or something. So I'll do that in a moment. Okay, so let me have a little bit more sip of tea and then let's get cozy with our peace and prosperity. So I would say for you guys, start thinking now of your keyword. What is your keyword for 2026? And so what, if you could encompass everything into one word, what would that word be? And I will burn that word here with the candle that we are going to dress and create. Kat says, still here being proved further, nothing is accident subjectively. Sayali's here. Oh, thank you. Huh? Yeah. Safe word. See, I want to use, okay, so we have some colored pens here, and I do like working with color. Let's use, okay, well, maybe we could do a green on green crime. We could do that. Green on green crime. But now what type of green do I want to use? Okay, maybe I'll just use this green. Okay, we'll use green on green. That's cool. And it's not such a bright green, but I feel like it's more of like a peaceful green. So it's like a peace and prosperity green. So Sayali, it's great to see you, my friend. Kat says, flower of life. Very happy Monday says, White Wolf Weaver is awesome. I like that. White Wolf Weaver. White Wolf Weaver. Do, 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 do. Kat said 233, 72%. Rescue Rangers. She. Lila says, thank you. Costalini said, waiting. Yes, I know. Okay. And Kat says, binaural beats, but be aware of how they really make you feel. There is a reason Michelangelo and Ninja Turtle says dancing is like medicine. Songs and dance is the greatest gift the gods can give. And Very Happy Monday says, brilliant, Lilith. Kat says, can I share a link? Charlotte's Web and my grandmother's name. I think you can. I'm not sure. Sometimes YouTube doesn't let people share links, but do give it a go. Give it a try. And Very Happy Monday says, bring on the green. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of this olive oil. So I'm just going to put my finger in it really. Okay, just going to dress. Just so the herbs can stick to the candle. But like I said, olive. Think of the olive leaf, extending that olive branch. Peace, goodwill, prosperity. I also brought napkins. Good on me. And I also wanted to use a little bit of the White Wolf oil blend that was made personally for me. It's just a little dab will do ya. Little dab will do ya. Okay. All right. And now, hold on, let me just chug this tea here. I did it. Ziggy zaggy, oi, oi, oi. I did it. All right. Let's bring on first some passion flower. Roll it in there. Get all up in there. All right. Passion flower for peace, tranquility. All right. And let's get some rose. Okay, I'm going to crush up the rose. Okay, and now let's roll it in some of that rose. You know you want to get it on ya. Okay. Okay. That looks good. Looks fantabulous. Okay. And then we are going to light our friend the candle. All right. And now with our bay leaf, I might have to do several bay leaves depending on how many keywords you guys have. Okay. But go ahead and give me some keywords in all caps. That way I know that that's your keyword. So in all caps, what is your keyword for 2026? What do you want to bring in? If you can consolidate everything into one word, what would it be? And again, this is going to be burned in our peace and prosperity energy, the energy of that. Okay. Lois says, not a pyromaniac at all. Oh, no, 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 not I. All right. Lilith says sovereignty. I love that. So let's write sovereignty. All right. We have sovereignty. What else? Very Happy Monday says peace. All right. I'm going to write peace on there. Okay. What else? John says levity. Ooh, we all need a bit of levity. Okay. Levity. Okay, what else? What else? Ooh, Cialis is present, being present. All right, that's a great one. I was actually just thinking that. So you have my keyword too. Present. I love these. So we have levity, peace, sovereignty, present. Very Happy Monday says resilience. Ooh, let's start a new bay leaf. So I can write some of these keywords. Resilience, expansion. Lois is like, wait, is this making us a coven? Did we just become best friends? All right, so yes, resilience. Resilience. And then expansion. Expansion. Okay. All right, so I have your guys' keywords here. Do we have any more keywords? Any more keywords? Does Riley have a keyword? Let's see, what other keyword could I put? Love. I'm gonna put love. I don't understand. Just what do you want for 2026? Jesus. Okay. All right, we have Jesus. Okay, so we have levity, peace, sovereignty, present, love, resilience, expansion, Jesus. Well, this is like Sisters of the Traveling Ethereal Bay Leaves. Dude, that is awesome. I love that. Okay, prosperity. All right, yes, prosperity. Prosperity. Okay. Kat says, just as you said keywords, I was like, I was thinking of that word. Okay, yeah, abundance. And Kat also has freedom for 99%. All right, so abundance. Abundance. Freedom. We do have love on there. Good, good. Huh? Yeah, love. Yep, we got love on there. We have, okay. So let me read them off to you guys. Kat says, Lilith, this is really cool. Age of Aquarius. But I love that. Sisters of the Traveling Ethereal Bay Leaves. Okay, so we have levity, peace, sovereignty, present, love, resilience, expansion, Jesus, prosperity, freedom, and abundance. Oh, clarity, yes. Okay, let me write clarity. I think we can get that down here at the bottom. Clarity. Okay. Kat says clarity is already here too. Hey, we could always use some more. But yes, I agree. Okay. Is that everybody or is that all the keywords? Because we got more bay leaves. I mean, we got a lot of bay leaves. Oh, good health. Okay. So let me grab another bay leaf here. Let me see if I can get a big leaf. I like big leaves. Okay, good health. So health. Health. Strengths and angels. Kat says, I just heard the neighbor's car start. Fuel linkage. Ah. Strengths. Angels. Connection. Connection. Divine guidance. Ooh, gotta get another leaf. This is awesome. You guys are freaking awesome sauce. Sisters of the Traveling Bay Leaves. Divine guidance. Lil's like, she likes big bay leaves and she cannot lie. Kat says, sorry, just proving I'm not deaf. And John says, cannot we just have it all? I want it all. I want it all. All right, Lilith has friends. Insert Friends theme song. Look around you, pretty big. Is it everything you hope to be? Ethereal bay leaves, mind you. Yes. Oh, yes. Sisters of the Traveling Ethereal Bay Leaves. All right. So here we go, you guys. So I'm just grounding myself, connecting into that soul space. I ask the Creator to hear us as we speak now from the soul with these things that we call into our lives for this upcoming year. We're willing and open to make the changes necessary to bring in these energies. We ask for your strength and your guidance to help us to bring in these energies. Very thankful for all that you have surrounded us with to help us navigate our way back to you, back to the divine. Thank you for the people in our lives, those that act as our teachers, our friends, our mentors, and those that act as students. Thank you for the highs and the lows. Thank you for everything. As we know that from that higher perspective, every shadow day, every light day helps us to grow. Okay. We call in love for 2026. We call in resilience. We call in expansion. We call in clarity and abundance. We call in freedom, prosperity. We call in Jesus. We call in divine guidance. We call in friends. We call in levity. We call in peace, sovereignty. We call in being present. We continue to ask. We ask you to help us in these things, to guide us in truth and love. Help us to see as you see. We call in health. We call in strength. We call in angels. We call in courage. Courage to do what's right, even though we know it's not always the easiest thing to do. Thank you for listening to our prayer. Thank you for guiding each and every one of us. Help show us the way to help one another, to help us to grow, that our hearts may expand, our soul may be expanded. We find the way. Amen. All right. So I'll continue to let that burn because that is our peace and prosperity. But thank you, all of you, for coming up with those keywords. I think that those are all wonderful keywords to bring into the new year. Kat says, yes, the fifth element is the fairy dust. Yep. Kat said, tears of Isis, unity, 249, 70%, strength in numbers and courage for the masses. Kat said, BTS Army, stay gold. Bria, the road of righteousness is narrow. Delisha said, thank you. Kat said, Papa Roach, tightrope. They did a fabulous live version recently. And she, wow. Wow, thank you guys. I'm so glad you guys voted on this. I'm happy to have brought out my herbs. Let me put this off to the side here. And I said I wanted to take you guys to see my herb collection. And then we'll do super chats and super stickers if you wish. I might even just use an herb to tap into. I could do that too. Well, How'd I wind up with so many lighters? Anyway, let's take you guys over to my little herby cabinet. Here we go. Road trip, you guys. Yay! And we got Vader. Well, we're not going out, buddy. He's like, we're going to go out. Okay. Here is my herb cabinet. So I have like my biggest herb jars are up there. I have my little flower garland. Over here, I have this a little tray actually that came from our friend Laura. And I found out that this would be great for all like the little packets of herbs where there's like not enough herb to put them in a jar. So I thought that was great. But yeah, so I have some herbs up here. I have my little sage for cleansing. But yeah, I use these in all my brews of teas. I said before, I've been doing this for like years. So I have a lot of herbs, you guys. I have like a lot of herbs. And also it helps that I live in an area where we have a local place of herb. It's actually run out of somebody's home. And then over here, I have my tea station. So these are like my base teas. So it's like white tea, matcha tea, kokicha tea, moringa, you know, so my base teas. And then I have some of my pre-blends, like mixed teas that I've made myself, plus, you know, just other store-bought base teas. Down here, just like my tea supplies, like my little strainers, coasters, reusable tea bags, and then actual just like store-bought tea bags, some that people have bought me. And then, hey Vader. And then all the way down here, I have my set for making matcha tea. I also have some of my mortar and pestles. One of them's like for really grinding, like certain really hard roots and berries and stuff like that. One is for making salts and powders, and this other one is basically just for fluff, just kind of mixing some things together, not really grinding them up. But anyway, that's my little herbal cabinet. So I want to do more of that stuff with you guys. Okay, back in we go. I think my microphone fell in my shirt. Sorry. All right. Do. Phenomena. Do. Phenomena. Okay. Yes. Hey, Vader. Oh. Okay. Thank you. Come again. All right. I'll put my tea over here. Go lay down. Go on. Wow. Vader thinks you threw your voice. He doesn't know where that came from. Vader, you're such a silly Billy. Okay. Let's go back here. Miss some of your comments. Do. Oh, Delisha. Yes. I'd be happy to read for you. Let me know what your question is. Kat said, John, what a beautiful observation. All right, so John says, I like that when he wasn't specifically summoned. I know, that's pretty cool. I like that. Okay, so let's see. John says, ever just reach in a jar and pinch a taste? Yes. Like all the time. Well, first I make sure it's not a poisonous herb, but then I'm just like, I'm the kid who ate dirt as of 5 minutes ago. Anyway, Kat said, which is which? Where? Jaleisha said, message for me, something I should know and do before saying a final goodbye to 2025. Okay, all right, let's do it. um, and then, okay, and then we have our friend Costalini. All right, so Delisha, let's take a look at what you should know or do before saying that final adieu to 2025. Okay, let's tap in. Let's see if we get a song. Maybe we get a movie. I don't know. I don't know what's on spiritual radio or the spiritual telly. Oh, okay. That's an interesting song. Um, this is from like real early 90s. Um, I don't even remember all the words, but it was like, gather wrong. This is something with the lingo pringo of the funk business, and everyone comes from miles around to get on down. do, 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 do. Oh, it's Coolio. This is Coolio. Come here to put the fro back in your ear. Just slide, slide, and that's the fact. Got some brand new for that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get your woman on the floor. Gotta get up, get down. Gotta get up, get down. Oh my gosh, it's such a dance song. Cats is Humpty Funk. Yeah, it's like such a dance song. All I see is like people partying. Really, that's what I'm getting, Delisha, is not so much the song, but the fact that in that song, it sounds like a tremendous party. You got people whistling, people dancing. It's like the like lifestyles of the rich and famous guy, like talking in the intro. Okay, so let's see what your card says. Kat says, oh yeah. And Delisha says, I was imagining dancing angels when you were connecting. Yeah, it was like, watch the wings. Okay. Okay, we have the 3 of Swords. Okay, so with all this partying and you got whatever Coolio and Humpty Hump singing or whatever, everybody's dancing and whatnot. Just to be reminded that oftentimes when you might become extra anxious or worrisome, that's really coming from the ego, but that's kind of like the ego's job, right? The ego wants to keep us safe. It's like, and so the only way I can keep you safe is what on looking in your past. And if you're doing something that you haven't done before, the ego starts to freak out because it's like, how am I supposed to keep Delisha safe? Because I don't have a future to predict for her. And the way I predict my futures is from things that have already happened in her past, but I have nothing to go on. So I'm freaking out. And it just causes you all of this undue stress. So next time, like let's say as we begin 2026, if you start to fall into what you may have done in 2025, which is like, something is uncertain, I don't know, something moving forward, therefore I'm really nervous, I'm scared. Those are all valid feelings, but we have to look into where those emotions, where those feelings are coming from. What does our ego feel that way? And so in 2026, if you can, we're we just try our best, but if you could pause when you start to feel that anxiety, that worry, that I can't sleep because I'm just thinking, I'm trying to think my way through something. But instead just try to figure out, okay, why why am I so nervous? Why am I all freaked out? Where is that coming from? And it's usually stemming from a fear. Okay, what's the fear? The fear is, and you find that out for yourself. And so once you find out the core, like what the fear is, oh, okay. Well, I can work on that. I can rewrite that, that programming. I can rewrite that belief. Then you start to feel more empowered. And then we have this alleviation of our fears and anxieties because we found out what it was that the ego was trying to tell us. The soul and its loving eyes is able to shed light on that. And of course, you can, always call in the divine, call in the creator if you need help in finding, whatever it is that needs that has that fear or has that anxiety or has that worry. If you're sitting in meditation, like, I just need a little extra help, like, hey, creator, please help me. Why am I feeling so anxious right now? Why am I feeling so scared right now? What is it really? It's not maybe the situation at hand. This is something deeper, otherwise I wouldn't be feeling these things so intensely. And so you will notice a much more peaceful, all those keywords that we had in our beautiful peace and prosperity candle that's still burning down there. All those keywords that we have, to really embrace those, embody those, then you have to really pay attention to your feelings and your emotions, and just help yourself to shed light, on where those feelings and emotions are coming from, so that you can have a much more peaceful and much more tranquil 2026. The more we can really listen to those emotions, what they're trying to tell us. So I hope that is helpful. Kat says, oh yeah. Very happy Mondays. Oh yes, it's Robin Leach. That's the guy doing the intro. The lifestyles and the Russian famous at the beginning of that song. Lilith's like, don't skip me again. I won't. Okay. So I know. Okay, so we do have Lilith as well. Oh, sent 3 PayPals. Okay. So we have Lilith. And then we have our friend Kostalini. And then we have Sayali. Okay. You guys are funny. Okay. So Lilith, let me know what you would like me to look into. Sayali's mind is just blown with that herb cabinet. And lots of love was being sent Vader's way as well, which I think is fabulous. And Delisha said, thank you so much. I got it. And we'll pay attention to the real root cause instead of trying to satisfy my ego. But yeah, the ego is not malicious. It's just trying to take care of us. But sometimes it really freaks us out because it's trying to take care of us in a very one-sided way, because it doesn't have that soul connection. It's like, I can't, predict a very safe future for Delisha, so I just freak out. That's all I know how to do. I just freak out. But yeah, just reconnecting to the soul. Okay, so yeah, Lilith, let me know your question. I'll get my little shuffle on here. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, Lilith says, the song by Stevie Nicks called Rhiannon has been stuck in my head. Was wondering if we can channel the song. Oh. And John says it's so difficult to be the observer sometimes. Huh? Rhiannon. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Fleetwood Mac. I love that song. Okay, so let's dive in. And I can hear Stevie's voice in my head. Yep. For a while, Fleetwood Mac was like coming up all the time. Did you know Riley used to party with Stevie Nicks? True story. Okay. Okay, so just tapping into, mostly I was focused on Stevie's energy instead of the rest of the band, just about that song. And I was feeling like she was showing me the place that she was in at the time, which is why she had created this song. Um, she was feeling trapped in a way, almost like somebody isn't hearing you. Um, they don't understand what you're saying. And the things they're saying hurt. And I'm trying to summon patience. I'm trying to summon love where all I have is retort for someone who has hurt me. And when we think of Rhiannon and her connection to the horse, this strong and mighty creature, instead of using that energy to destroy someone who has hurt me, I use that energy in restraint. You restrain and you refrain because you know that you are powerful. You have the power to destroy, but it takes so much more power to refrain, to try to see the bigger picture, to act from understanding rather than reaction, gut reaction. You hurt me, I hurt you. But instead, I want to learn how not to harbor hate, how not to take what they've given me and try to hurt others with it. But instead, I make it stronger. It makes me stronger because it takes more power to love than it does to hate. Wow. I like that. Okay, I'll still pull a card as well. Lilith says, I don't mind if we don't do 3 in a row, but like, don't forget me. Oh, no worries. No, and we could do all three in a row. That's cool because I'm like already on your energy, so it's probably it's easier. Kat says, Little Lies was my first favorite, and she said, Lilith, and here comes the year of the. That's right. Lilith is like, giddy up. And she said, ooh, is that why it's stuck in my head? Could be, could be. Let's see a card that goes with that. Ooh, the 4 of Swords. Because what do we want to do right away? If somebody, we find out they've been using us, or they say something awful to us, they try to put us down, like the gut reactions to be like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna throw it right back in your face. But the 4 of Swords here, and Rhiannon's like, we have to take a step back because it seems like we always regret the gut reaction to someone's projection. And that's really what it is. When somebody is throwing shade our way or hate our way, or they're trying to put us down, there's something that they are trying to feel empowered by. They feel very disempowered. They don't feel like Rhiannon. They don't feel like that majestic, powerful horse. They feel small. So they want to bring somebody else down to their level, make them feel small so I don't feel so small. But if you don't drop down to their level and you stay there like the mighty steed and just like, okay, I see what you're doing there, but I'm not going to stoop to your level. In fact, I'm going to throw love your way. How about Jesus loves you, and that's like the opposite response that they're looking for. So they have a couple of choices. Well, I can like now run away and go try to make somebody else feel small, or I can be like, man, you know what? I wish I had that. I wish I had that kind of strength. Maybe I can learn something from this person. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but you've definitely shown them something that maybe they haven't seen before by, empowering that. Let's see. Um, Ciali said, that's for Ciali's question. Okay. We have a couple more for Lilith, and then we'll get to our other homies like Costalini and Ciali, and very happy Mondays. Let's see. John says the horse is magic and considered a holy creature in many cultures. Yes, it is. This is very true. Lilith says, whatever's easier for you. Yeah, it's good for me. We can continue on. Kat says shadow equals ego. Ego. I was going to say eagle. Ego. And yes. Says again, said exactly what I was thinking. Swear it. Awesome. Okay. Okay, so Lilith says, message from my late colleague, James, the owner of said old vintage car sewing machine. Okay, the 01 vintage car sewing machine. And Kat was saying the 7 deadly sins, that's where you have to love yourself, then watch the backfires roll in. Okay, so your late colleague, James, the owner of said old vintage car sewing machine. Okay. Okay. Interesting. It's not so much I'm hearing anything being said, rather it was an interesting vision, I guess. And it was like, when you're feeding the fabric, through the foot and needle of the sewing machine. And it was like not paying attention for some reason, like there's the focus, I'm feeding it through, and then to a point where you just want to be done. So it's like not being as careful, and then accidentally having the needle come down on your finger, just like it's an accident, maybe it doesn't like go right through your finger, but just like catches it. And so I just see somebody grabbing their hand, just like, ow, 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 ow. Didn't mean to do that. And so James was saying, when something like that happens, basically you're being bit by the sewing machine, would you be angry at the sewing machine? Does the sewing machine harbor any malice towards you? Of course not. It's just a machine. But sometimes we project our feelings onto other things in order for it to make sense to us. So let's go back to the sewing. I'm feeding my fabric through, and it's because I stopped paying attention. It's because I was in a rush that I decided to basically put my finger in harm's way. But this being 100% my doing, I now blame the machine because it's my finger that got caught in the machine, and it's the machine that caused me pain. So sometimes he's saying we get confused on who is actually responsible for that pain. He says it's actually a good example to use an inanimate object, like the sewing machine. And he says, yes, I know. Everything has energy to it. He says, all of that aside, it's not a living, breathing thing. It's a machine. With energy, yes, true. The machine didn't wake up in the morning saying, in what way could I hurt Lilith? I hope to catch her finger today underneath the needle. He says, no, it did not. So he said, not trying to make you feel bad about yourself. He goes, quite the opposite. I want to help you grow. So each time you get your finger pricked or you are hurt by something, he says, what was your 50% in that situation? So he says, now let's take it from the inanimate to the animate. A person. You happen to bump into them when one is coming out the convenience store and the other person is going in. And then they say, hey, watch it, and maybe some unkind words. Now you might say, well, I didn't do anything to provoke that. And so that's them. They hurt me. And so maybe you push them back, maybe you lash out. He says, I'm being extreme here. Of course, I know you wouldn't do that. But remember, that person doesn't know you from Joe. They didn't get up in the morning thinking, I can't wait to bump into Lilith today so that I can scream obscenities at her. That was not their intention. But instead, they were carrying some sort of energy and they needed it to be unloaded onto someone. You happen to be that someone after you bumped into them. But also, he says, remember, you were put into that path for a reason. It wasn't just happenstance. You were meant to bump into that person. That's your 50%. So what is it that you needed to learn? Obviously, this person needs to learn something as well. And, that's their free will choice too. But why would you be pushed into that situation? Why would you be led into that situation? He says, these are the things to think about. And he can find no greater teacher than the sewing machine. He says, because many a swear words have been said to the sewing machine. A lot of sewing machines have been kicked. A lot of sewing machines have been neglected. Because somehow the sewing machine hurt me. The sewing machine messed up my project. The sewing machine, it's its fault. He says, it's a wonderful metaphor for the interactions that we encounter in our everyday life. Okay, let's go ahead and pull a card. Oh, my goodness. Lilith's like, I sense a theme between the channelings. Probably why these questions are coming up is because they're actually created. They are connected, created and connected. Let's see. Card to pull in. Oh, we have the Six of Swords. Okay, so he says the reason this little theme is coming up first in the first reading with Rhiannon and then with him in the sewing machine, he says is because you're getting ready to move into a new phase where like all of these lessons kind of surrounding what's just been talked about, like you're getting ready to move to a new phase of those lessons. Like there's a lot that you're already understanding, you're learning, you're not really, connected to it anymore. It doesn't trigger you anymore. So he says he's just letting you know as you kind of finish up that chapter, just to give you a little bit more clarity on why you've been encountering certain situations and people as of late. Yes, hope that makes sense. Okay, let's see. Kat says, but don't for a moment think gang stalking is not real. And though that is true, you can tell when it's real by its fluidity. Very true. She was saying tangency. Very happy Monday says, prepare to tuck 2025 into bed. Thankful for the lessons not yet processed. What messages might help the collective transition smoothly now? For Very Happy Monday's question. Excellent. And Kat says, I used to use a Husqvarna sewing machine. My adopted grandparents never met the needed. Oh, so they never needed. Whoa, very good. This is coming of age ceremony. I know I can find that. Well, excellent. Okay. All right. So we have one more for our friend Lilith. And I'm glad we're doing them like in a row because it seems like they're actually connected. So that's really good. And then we'll get to our friend Costalini, then Sayali. Very happy Mondays. Excellent. Excelente. All right. Lilith says, word on the street from another reader, Carbonville, is brewing plans. Need some insight to said plans, please. Okay. Okay. Vader, are you going to help? You going to help Lilith get her message? Interesting. Okay. So, okay, how do I'm like, blah, blah, blah. It's all over the place. So the energies that came through for the first two readings are kind of still here. And they're like, there was a reason, there was a theme with those first two readings. They wanted to show you the different types of responses to feeling pain. And for whatever reason, this karmic veil has felt a type of pain from you. And you might say, but I've never pained this person. I've never physically hurt this person. I never try to hurt this person emotionally. Remember that everybody lives in their own reality. And sometimes people create us to be the hero in their reality. They create us to be the villain, or maybe we're just a side character in their reality. But however people paint us is out of our control. You could be freaking the nicest person in the world, just so giving and heart-based, and you're still going to be a villain in somebody else's reality. When people have a hard time looking inwards, who knows? And it could be for multiple reasons, not because they're bad people. Sometimes people are scared what they might find inside. They might have low self-worth. They might have, a host of reasons why they would want to externalize everything. And so karmic veil is externalizing things for one reason or another. You're the bad guy. You are the villain in my story. And I feel pained that you seem to be having a good life. And you might be like, well, why would this person even care? Because this person feels that they were connected to you at some point. And now we no longer have that type of connection. You're living a grand life. I don't feel that you should be living a grand life. I feel like you should be feeling like I feel. And a lot of how they feel and a lot of where they are in their life, they're putting onto you, but it really has nothing to do with you. You just happen to be like the personification of things gone wrong in their life. So it's like, I stubbed my toe, Lilith's fault. My car won't start, Lilith's fault. I didn't quite get the paycheck I wanted this month, Lilith's fault. And so maybe to some degree you might be feeling this, but really what their plans are, I don't think they're really sitting down like plotting like, how can I screw up Lilith's life? I really don't feel like they're doing that. But it's always in the back of their head that if I see her, or just whenever I think of her, I just hope that all goes wrong. I just hope, and again, a lot of what they're feeling, a lot of what they're placing onto you, again, really has nothing to do with you. They're just, again, afraid to grow themselves, to look inwardly themselves, due to whatever self-esteem or whatever belief has been placed into them that they are somehow no good, that they are not smart enough, not good enough, not strong enough. And so in order to feel those things, they mentally put out this like bad juju, basically, thinking it'll pump them up. But what happens when you stew in negative thoughts all day? Do you feel any better? No, we all know that because we've all been there where we just like pout all day, like, hoping this will make me feel better, but really it just makes me feel more pouty and more crappy. So in a way, it is very sad, for this person that they feel as though by putting this like bad juju and just I hope that life just turns out wrong for you, that somehow that's going to make them feel better, and it just never does. And maybe someday they will figure that out, that's like, man, I've been like trying to like do bad juju and think bad thoughts to Lilith for like, let's go way into the future, like 20 years now, and I still don't feel any better. Maybe I should try something different. So this is definitely a learning for this person, but it also is a learning for you. That whatever character you play in somebody else's reality, you don't have to make that a part of your reality. So as far as plans go, they don't have any like set in stone plans, because they're not like making a to-do list for things to hate on about Lilith today. It's just whenever you pop up in their head, bad thoughts. Whenever you come up in conversation, bad thoughts. And maybe if I find that somebody's talking to her that I also talk to, maybe I'll throw in a little white lie here and there. Maybe that'll hurt her somehow, because I know that she really doesn't like it when people say untruths about her. So maybe if I throw a couple of those her way, that would really get her ungrounded, basically. That'll really get her goat. But yeah, I just feel such powerlessness in this person. And you have become like this personification of all that's wrong in my life. And that's pretty sad. Lilith's like, not my circus, not my monkeys. Exactly. So I know that we still feel these things. I know it still feels crappy when we try to be good people, we try to do the right thing, and there's still going to be people that hate on us, and it's just kind of the way the world is. And I know it doesn't feel great. But also, maybe for you, it's just practicing in releasing that energy that's not yours. It's not yours to take. Let's see. Unnamed guy gaming. It says, think this was the compassion key that's still having the AI take the blame for Toth too. Oh, John says, I'm sorry he held a grudge against you for 20 years though. And Kat says, AI YouTube transcripts called Hather. Oh, really? Interesting. And John said, oh, figuratively speaking. And Kat says, that is called gaslighting. Yes, we did have, we finally have a term for this, but yeah, it is gaslighting. Someone who refuses to take responsibility for themselves for one reason or another, and decides that if I bring this other person down to my level, that'll somehow make me feel good, but it never does. That's how it works. All right. Let's see. Oh, unnamed guy gaming. Yes, we are doing super chats and super stickers if you are interested. All right, let me go back to our friend Costellini. Says, could you look at the major theme of 2026 for moi? Sure could. Okay, let's have a look ski. Okay, this is strange. Because I have not heard this song in probably since like 2000, early 2000s, not even 2000 teens. This is like early 2000s. Harajuku Girl by Gwen Stefani. This is after she left, No Doubt. I don't know. It's just like, I just see the like, because I remember there was a music video attached to it, and it's more the music video that I'm seeing is just like these crazy outfits and being a Harajuku girl. It's just playing. That's interesting. And I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe that Harajuku was like a type of style in Japan, and it's kind of like this wacky standout, not really cosplay, but just bright colors, almost on a different dimension type style. And if you're going to dress Harajuku, probably are going to have some thick skin because there's going to be a lot of people staring. But that's what I'm getting, is almost like you're this bright, just kind of like when everybody's staring at the Harajuku girls and like, oh wow, like that's an interesting outfit, you know. um, but it's a shakeup to, you know, everyday life. Everybody else is just in maybe jeans and a t-shirt, but then you got somebody in this very brightly colored, unusual outfit, just like, whoa, shaking up the status quo. But yeah, I'm seeing that. Interesting. Lilith, you are so very welcome, my friend. um, let's see, 2026. Ace of Pentacles. Okay, I'm digging that. Let's dive in. Ace of Pentacles. Interesting. Okay, so you know how we did our peace and prosperity spell and prayer. It's for 2026, it's like everybody's looking at you like you're Mr. Moneybags, you know, and maybe that's not, you know, you might be thinking, I'm not really a Moneybags, like I'm not that rich. But it's the energy that you're giving off for 2026 where everybody like looks at you like, man, like that guy's got it going on in his life, you know. So some people equate that to, you got tons of cash, or you must have like the charmed life. Like that guy is just, you know, I doubt he's ever had a bad day in his whole life. You know, just people thinking these things about you. And then as you go on, and like it might be a little bit of like kind of weird, you know, as you're beginning 2026, like you might tell people, I'm so not a rich person, or I so don't have my life together, or I'm so not this, I'm so not that. But the message is, you know, with the Ace of Pentacles, what if you actually take in a little bit of what they're saying, you know? um, so if somebody's trying to tell you, man, you look like money, you look like the walking, like a personification of money, and you're going, no, really, I'm broke, I'm broke. Like, what energy are you putting out there? You're trying to reiterate that I don't actually want abundance. Thank you, though. I actually don't want abundance. Thank you, though. Instead, you could say, thank you. Cool, you know, and you can actually take that in, like, wow, I'm really exuding like some bougie today. Like, that's kind of cool. Or somebody comes up to you and says, man, you know, Costalini, it seems like you really have your life together, instead of saying, I really don't, I really don't, I really don't. Then we're reiterating that mantra to ourselves, that I don't have everything together. I don't have anything. Please bring me more situations that will prove to me that I don't have my life together. Instead, you know, it could be, wow, I didn't know that I was giving off the air that I have my life together. Wow, well, let me do a little bit of reflection and see what I've been working on that's got me to that energy. Very cool, because I want to bring in more of that energy. So this is just, as people are complimenting you, maybe even random strangers on the street, that, you know, you look like Mr. Bougie, or you look like you have your life together, or, you know, how are you so happy all the time, or I just really love your energy, man. Instead of, you know, doing the modest thing that we normally do, is no, I'm not this, I'm not this. But what if you are, and other people can see it, and maybe you're just a little slow to catch on? So really look into what these people are seeing that maybe you're having a hard time seeing in yourself, and then look at all the reflection that took to get you there, so that you know how to keep that energy, how to stay in that energy. Because sometimes we just pass it, you know, pass it aside. When somebody says, man, you just look like the whole package, like you are just a shining star, like I love this, and you know, we could just be, you know, no, I'm not, you know, and then we have that hard time seeing it in ourselves, because we just like denied it. But if you just are like, well, if somebody can see it, it must be there. Well, let me have a little look ski. Costalini says, yay. I know, right? And Katrina said, nice people don't have to try to be. Yeah, so yeah, you come off as like this great guy, and everybody's really like feeling into it. I would say, maybe don't take their whatever they're saying at face value. Like I said, we all live in our own reality, but if it's coming up time and time again, maybe that's something to like look into. How am I exuding this energy? Where is that coming from? What have I worked on to get me to this? And that's like the kudos to like keep going if that's what you want. So bring in more of that. So if everybody says you look like a freaking, you are the model of peace and peace is what you've been wanting in your life, then okay, what am I doing that's showing everybody else peace so that I too can tap into this peace that everybody else sees in me? So I can have more of that in 2026. So allow the compliments in so that they can help to guide you in your clarity when you are looking within and help you to have clarity with bringing more of that in, so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel of like, how do I bring in more peace? It's like, well, what if you already are peace? You just have to pinpoint it, tap into it, and then bring in more of that. Costalina said, no complaints about any of that. Very nice. Oh, yes. Kat was talking about someone who is nice to you and not the waiter is not a nice person. Yes. Nice people are usually nice to everybody. Okay. So excellent. Thank you, Costalini, for letting me do that. Wonderful readings. I think they help all of us too, not just the individuals that we're reading for. Kat said a lot of readers prove that in the last 10 years, only show up for lives for poor people. Yep. And still behave myself until someone gets dumb and two-faced as stated above. That is all. Costalini says, thanks for looking. You are very welcome. All right. We also have our friend Sayali. Yay! And I know that she had her question posted a little bit earlier. I think there was a little Q next to it. Let me just find it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do, 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 do. Ah, there it is. Ciale's question says, this year there was a lot of kite birds that are present at the beach. I have never seen even a couple before. How come suddenly there are that many of them? Wow. Okay, Ciale, I have to say that it's interesting you bring up that question because Riley and I were literally like driving out into the forest yesterday and the day before. And as we were heading back home, at first I thought I saw a hawk like rise up kind of out of the brush and was flying. But as I cranked my head around to really see the flight of this bird and like the angle of its wings and everything, I realized it was a kite. I was like, what? Because I mean, I could be wrong, but usually I thought they hang around bodies of water, and there was no water there. Even though I'm sure there's like little creeks and lakes nearby, but it's like right there wasn't any water, and now it just kind of took me by surprise because I haven't really seen any, actually any since I've been in Arizona. So and then you bringing up a bird that I just now saw that I haven't seen in this state, and now you said that you hadn't really seen it before, and now they were just kind of like popping up where you were. So a definite message there. Let's tap in. Okay. I don't really get like a song or a movie. Sometimes I do in people's readings, but it was more like the bird itself is just saying that when something is unusual or out of the ordinary doesn't always mean bad. Um, like the bird says we like to categorize things. Like all these types of birds, they they stay here, and when they migrate, they go here. These types of people, they are in this country. These types of people, they practice this. It's like everybody's in this like little box. If you are this, then you do this. This is like my label on my forehead. And the bird's like, but a lot of nature doesn't live by labels. People label them, but nature doesn't label itself. And so the bird's saying that there are some upcoming changes for you. And just because it might not fit your model of the way good times look, the way a a peaceful environment looks, it just might look a little bit different. It doesn't mean it's bad, or it doesn't mean it's wrong. Because there might be that inclination. We might meet I'm trying to think of an example. Okay, so let's say your wish is like, I want more sovereignty in my life. I want to be more sovereign. I want to be more self-empowered. And so let's say, for an extreme example, you're thrust into a situation where you're forced to leave where you live and live somewhere else. And it's like, whoa, oh no, I don't know if I could do this. I'm so used to living here. I don't want to have to move. Moving's such a headache. I just like my comfortability. But the bird's saying, but a person who has called in sovereignty called in a situation like that so that they could see their sovereignty, so they can see their power. So that's why this bird is coming up, is because sometimes when we call in things, we think that in order for me to see courage, to see love, to see sovereignty, to see Jesus, or whatever it may be, that it needs to look a particular way for me to have these things. And the bird's like, but you don't control how things happen. You can only control your reaction to those things. And so let's say I'm trying to call in courage, and then something happens and like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. But you were calling in courage. This is where we learn courage, is actually when we're really scared, is when we learn courage. When we feel powerless is when we can learn sovereignty. When we feel disempowered is when we can learn how to have self-power, self-fulfillment and things like that. So although the situations may look off, or like, oh, this isn't good because this is like the opposite of what I asked for, it's actually right in alignment with what you've asked for. And so that's what this bird is saying. So it seems like we are out of the ordinary, the bird may say. It seems like we're in the wrong place, but we're exactly where we're meant to be. And you are exactly where you are meant to be. You are meant to see something out of the ordinary, quote unquote. So that you could be ready for things that don't always fall into neat little categories. They're not always in that little box. Okay, so let's pull a card as well. Ooh, the World card. I love that. So that's all about, the bird saying that not only are we obviously ending a calendar year, a Gregorian calendar year, and going into something new, but you're ready for something that is a little outside of the box, a little outside of the norm. So when things look off, like that's not supposed to be there, those birds aren't supposed to be there, well, it's not bad. It's not bad. It just means that you're ready to, how do I say, take like the fool's leap, do something a little bit different, a little scary because it looks different, but that's the point, because this is how you expand and this is how you grow. You're getting out of your comfort zone. So there's a lot coming in for you that is going to help you get out of that comfort zone, which means it's probably going to be a little uncomfortable, but in the end, you're going to be so like, oh my gosh, if I didn't go through this and I didn't go through this and I didn't see this, which was really weird, I wouldn't have learned this about myself. I wouldn't have gotten the courage to do this. I feel so much more confident in this. So I see a lot of just growth. The kite is saying there's just so much growth, soaring like a bird, so, coming in for you for 2026. But it just might not look the way you thought it would look. It looks a little weird, but it's actually a really good thing. Let's see. Kat says, Kaka, Tuki Tuki, with David Duchovny, Orlando Jones. And I forgot her name, but she's also a favorite. I want to say Jillian. They call her the Ice Queen. Hey, there are people who call me the Ice Queen. And Kat says, the Ouroboros. Holy ish. Janice says, I'm this our year of Greg. In this year, our year of Greg. Kat says, we're each God's art, positive and negative. Okay. Let me do. Stilini Sayali, very happy Mondays. I think I saw your question down here. Give me just uno momento. Okay, so preparing to tuck 2025 into bed, thankful for the lessons not yet processed. What messages might help the collective transition smoothly now? Okay, what messages might help the collective transition smoothly now? And this is for our friend, very happy Mondays. Happy. Riley says I melted the Ice Queen. He did. I liked it. What? Anyway. Okay. I'm not blushing. Messages. As we move forward into this 2026. Go with the flow by Queens of the Stone Age. I can go with the flow. Oh, whoa, whoa. You say it doesn't matter with the flow, matter anymore. That is such an awesome song. I love the music video. It's very artsy. I like it. Okay, but what is that Queens of the Stone Age song? I mean, it's got a other meaning to it, but I don't think that's the meaning that we have for 2026. Go with the flow. Okay. The sun. Hey. Okay. So let me go back up here. I wanted to take a look at something. Oops, I've gone too far. We've gone too far. We know too much. Okay. Okay, so the more we just, as a collective, try to hang on to the past, the more pain we're going to feel in 2026, because 2026, year of the horse, also in other modalities, it's the new beginnings in terms of like divine law and order and authority and power, all of this. So the more we try to hold on to the new, the more we're going to have a tower moment, because think of the tower, it's here, this big, beautiful building. And if we're always just like, the building, so beautiful. And somebody comes along, we got to change up this building. Wait, no, I like it the way it is. It's always been this way. This is all I've ever known. Like, why would you do that? Well, then we're going to have a tower moment because the collective itself is asking for change. The collective itself wants to go with the flow, kind of like the song says, where we kind of practice this more, not attaching our identity to people, to situations, to things. And the more we can have this kind of unattachment or non-attachment, not to say we're so detached that we're detached from the collective itself, but more, labels don't define me. That, who my parents are, though, they don't define me. The school I went to doesn't define me. The neighborhood I grew up in doesn't define me. My wife, my husband, boyfriend, girl, whatever, they don't define me. And I can be whoever I want to be in this present moment. And so that's a very fluid thing, because the more we get caught up in, okay, well, that's me, and it's kind of like what I was talking about with my channel. I'm ready to like change up my channel, right? I'm ready to be more fluid. I'm ready to grow and kind of go where spirit takes me, um, and the more I rigidly, let's say, use me as an example, the more I rigidly want to stick to something, the more it can be seen. And like, let's say if I created future videos where I'm kind of like just going through the motions, who's going to enjoy that? Who is that going to help? Where I'm just kind of like, well, it's kind of what I've always done, so I just kind of do this, and so it's very hard to grow, and it makes things very difficult for me to see myself any other way, or to ourselves, as a collective consciousness, any other way, if we're constantly saying, but that label is me, and we were literally just saying that with Sayali's reading with the kites that came in, that she was saying it wasn't scary or anything. She says it was just different. We have to be okay with things being different, for us seeing ourselves differently. It's not a scary thing. It doesn't have to be a tower moment. We can make it into a tower moment. Oh yes, with all of our fears and anxieties, we sure can. But if we can look at things like, that's different. Okay, well, let's roll with the different instead of, no, I don't want it to be that way. Then the more pain we're going to feel, the more suffering we're going to have, because we're trying to like claw and cling to something that doesn't exist anymore except in our memories. So with this sun card, I see a lot of like, actually I see that as the collective consciousness. It's the sun, it's all of us. But yeah, just the message, really try to embody, go with the flow. I know it's such a like a kitsch phrase of like, just go with the flow, man, but really go with the flow, because there's going to be a lot of changes in 2026. I'm feeling that not only on a worldly level, but on personal levels as well. And with all of those changes, we have to be able to roll with them. It might be really uncomfortable, but we're all literally in this together. We're a collective. We're not just random beings, just we're all each other. So everybody's going to be feeling it, but the more you go with the flow, the easier it is for the rest of the collective to go with the flow, because we tap into the collective. When the collective's feeling moody, we feel moody. When the collective's feeling empowered, we feel empowered. So, put some of that juju in there, so yeah, it's basically go with the flow. There's going to be a lot of changes 2026. How painful those changes are for us depends on us, how closely we want to cling to what was, and how much we dig our heels in like a stubborn mule, like, nope, not going anywhere. Instead of full steam ahead with the power of horse, um, Kat, I love your butterfly and caterpillars. That's awesome. So thank you. Very happy Mondays for allowing me to read that for you. Wonderful question for all of us. All right. And we have Costalini. I can see it's popped up on the screen. It takes a little It's always so weird. There's such a lag time between YouTube and StreamYard. There it is. Strange question. I haven't been able to get any girls for a year now. Like we've gone from multiple a day to 100% fail rate. Is this some energetic thing where options are being cut off for self growth? Okay, great question. Because, like you were saying, things change, and if we're very used to something, it's only when things are different, only when things get shook up, only when all of a sudden we see the bird kite where we didn't see them before, are we like, wait, what's going on? We're kind of moved out of our routine, so to speak. Okay, this song has no words. It's Battle Without Honor by, I forget the name of the person. He's Japanese. He created the theme song for Kill Bill 1 and 2. um, I think it starts with a T. But yeah, Battle Without Honor is playing. Do 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 do. I can't even do 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 do. All I can see is people like rocking with like a samurai sword, like all badass. Like, okay. So what does this have to do with going from all the ladies to no ladies? Okay. Tomoyasu Hotai. Yes. Hotai, sorry. Okay. Ooh. 10 of Pentacles. Oh. Okay. Okay. And then I'll bring it back around to what they had to do with the song. As humans, we often judge and understand who we are based on the company that we keep. Sometimes we get into a relationship with somebody, and if we don't quite have a grasp of who we are, we just kind of become whoever needs to be the counterpart of that other person. So some people just like fully become their partner. And this might happen where they identify themselves, like partner after partner after partner. It's like, oh well, I'm this person now, and okay, well, I'm this person now because I'm dating this person. But what if there is no person there, you know telling us and feeding us information of like, Costolini, you are this kind of boyfriend, you are this kind of person, this is how you act around girls, this is, but if the ladies all of a sudden are gone, and now it's like you're dating yourself, well, that's just it. That was the point. It's kind of what you were talking about, options being cut off for self-growth. This is a time of self-growth, where you are literally dating yourself right now. And you get to decide in this moment, like, who am I now? Who am I really? Like, really getting a good grasp of who you are in stressful situations, who you are when you are triggered all like to all get out, when you are just absolutely in love, when you're truly in your like zone and vibe, like who you really are in those, without the feedback of somebody else saying, and because we really like, the people that we date, if let's say you really love cooking, let's just say, for instance, you really love cooking, but the person that you're with really likes takeout. And so they might say, oh, well, I didn't really like that thing you made, or I don't really like that thing you made, but you really like this person, right? And you want to make her happy. So you might not cook so much. You might go out and eat out more because that's what she likes, and so we Not to say that we don't compromise a little bit, in relationships, but let's say that cooking is like your life. You really love to do it. And I know that our friend John in the chat, I know that he's a chef. Like he loves doing that stuff. And let's say, somebody told him, you can't do that anymore. Like I don't like that. But let's say John really cared for that person, and let's say he gave up that part of his life to make that person happy. Then is that who he is truly, or is he just trying to mold himself into being what he thinks the other person wants? But if the other person isn't there, and now it's just Costolini taking himself out to dinner, or making himself a nice meal, or taking himself to the movies, or driving his badass car all by himself. If it's just him, now you really get to understand who you are, what I really like, what I will not stand for. These are my core values. This is and although a girl might be stunningly gorgeous, if she doesn't have you know my core values. I mean, she could like pepperoni pizza, and I like mushroom pizza or something. Magical mushroom pizza. I mean, we might have differences in that way, but I'm talking about the core. If the core isn't there, then instead of saying, you might not, I would say waste your time, but you might decide that relationship isn't for you, instead of spending 2 or 3 years finding out later that that relationship wasn't for you. So this is time now to figure out what are your real, like, I have boundaries when it comes to these core values. And if this person doesn't possess those, well, it doesn't mean that we can't be friends, but I don't think that this is going to work in a relationship capacity, no matter how beautiful she is. So this is just you really deciding what you want. Who are you really? And so you can bring that to the table, and bring in a very similar energy, a girl that really knows herself and her core values, and she will settle for nothing less. And then when she sees, oh, hey, we're a simpatico energy, and you're like, hey, we are a simpatico energy, but that, what you're going through now is going to make that easier to see. I hope that makes sense. John says, I'm sorry, I gotta go. I love you all. Happy New Year. Mwah! Happy New Year, John. Lots of love to you and your wife. Costolidi says, so this is a kind of isolation period where I get to date myself and figure out who I am without someone else influencing me. Yes. Bingo. Let's see. Oh, and Sally says, bye. Happy New Year. Kat says, I pulled the hermit on my live. I started crying. Oh, oh no. So yeah, Costolini, I hope that helps. But yeah, this is the year to date yourself. And I was actually pretty stoked after well, I wouldn't say, I mean, it was kind of painful when I had gotten out of a relationship. And of course there's like all of the pain with that. But then afterwards it was like, now without the influence of anybody else, I get to just like date myself. And I was like really excited about that. I get to eat what I want. I get to go do what I want. I get to, really like figure myself out. And not too long after I was doing all of that, and I was happy just being all by my little lonesome, that Riley showed up. And I was like, I was not like out there like, okay, I'm really scared to be by myself right now. I need somebody. I was not in that at all. It was, which makes it kind of funny. But I feel like because I was in that energy, then it was like somebody who was in a very similar energy just kind of popped in. I was like, oh, cool. So talk about creator putting like and like together. So yes, hope that makes sense, like I said. And then Costolini was talking to Kat, how she's got a bunch of synchronicities happening over there. And then she said, my first flap clock, I noticed 11:11. I think it's still processing. Ooh. Okay. Costolini says, you attached him from the right state. Ah, Um, oh yeah. So that's why, okay. So the reason I said I was going to circle back around to the song, the Battle Without Honor, is because um, think about the movie that it comes from, Kill Bill. I'm pretty sure everybody's seen Kill Bill, at least the first one, and how Beatrix Kiddo, the main character, basically Grasshopper's grasshopper, um, um, she had to break away from the whatever the deadly viper assassins or deadly whatever they're assassins. She had to get away from them and that lifestyle, everything that she knew, in order to really find out who she was and what she wanted. And eventually, she was able to kill Bill. Now, I'm not saying go out and commit murder. I hope you get what I'm trying to say, though. She found out who she really was and what she really wanted once her environment changed, once she was around different people. And of course, in the Kill Bill situation, it's kind of more humorous and bloody, but I hope that makes sense. All right, let me open up this blind here and let's get ready for our guided meditation, because I'm ready to use our little candle for said meditation. Okay, let me move this out of the way. Yes. Oh, wait. That one just now popped up. Sorry, Sayali. I didn't see you again till after. Sorry, my feed didn't. Oh, hello. You're going to say hello to the peoples. Costalina said, thank you, thank you. Kat says with the 5-point heart stopper. Yes. All right, Sayali. So let me know what your question is. Let me see if I can see the question. If you posted it earlier. Okay, you said, what would the river I work with want to say to me? I always wondered what she had to say. Oh, yay, let's tap into the river energy. I like that. There we go. Yes, sir. You gonna help Sayali too? Okay. Let's tap in. Tap into the water energy. As they say, go with the flow in 2026, right? Yay! Okay. Okay. It's almost like the bird and the river are working in tandem for your questions, although they're two separate questions. So when the bird was coming in and saying, just because some things may look out of the ordinary for you doesn't mean that they're bad or there's anything wrong with it. It's just to help kind of change up your energy and your point of view a little bit. And the water that was actually playing a TLC song, Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick it to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. Anyway, so that song is playing. And at first I was like, so wait, are you telling her not to go off and do different things? And the river's like, no, you misunderstand me. And it says, take into consideration what our friend, the kite, had said. So if things are different, let's say you have a move, you have to move. And now I'm in a different environment. It doesn't quite look like the way I thought the move would go, but it doesn't mean that that's bad. So I'm just going to go with the flow, right? But sometimes our ego, even subconsciously, will do subliminally all it can to get us back to the way things used to be. So although you might have now you're in a different energy, you're in a different environment, and you're like, wow, okay, well, it's a little scary, but it's still pretty fun. I like this. I'm growing. In the back there, the ego's like, yeah, not sure about this. Not sure. How about, hey, check out this like distraction over here. Hey, like really look, hence the don't go chasing waterfalls. You have this big grand thing, big grand waterfall. Let's look over here. That will kind of alleviate some of the uncomfortability that we have in things that are different and awkward, so just know the river is saying that sometimes we bring distractions in ourselves, and it's not to self sabotage. That's not really the ego's intention. The ego is trying to keep you safe, but it ends up looking like sabotage, by accident. So if you find something shiny and oh, it just looks so much safer and better over there, and like, oh, I could distract myself with that to get myself out of this feeling of being uncomfortable. The river's like, it's just like being uncomfortable the first couple of minutes that you jump into some cold water, whether you're at the beach or you're at a river or lake. At first it's like, oh, that's cold, but then you acclimate and you get used to it. If you can just allow yourself some time to acclimate to some things that are going to be different for you in 2026, and not allow yourself to become distracted. I mean, you might get distracted from time to time, but again, there's learning in that. But if you can try to be present enough to recognize that I'm leaning towards a distraction, I'm trying to bring distraction into my life, then you'll be much more understanding, or have much more knowledge in why I'm trying to distract myself. Why would I do that to myself? Why am I trying to distract? And when you get to the core of that, then even more expansion and growth can happen in 2026. So it's not a bad thing that these waterfalls show up and say, hey, come chase me, come distract yourself with me. They're there to show you something for growth within yourself. So we can thank the waterfall. We can thank the really weird events. We can thank, what is different. All of it is going to help you to do some mega growth in 2026. Okay, so let's pull a card as well. Very Happy Mondays is sending Vader some hugs. And Kat was saying, classic, rest in peace, Left Eye, justice for all our lost and stolen artists. Yes, okay. Oh, well, thank you, Vader, for pulling that card for me. It landed right on his paw. They can see you. Wow. Okay, we have the Magician. So whatever the distraction is, remember that the distraction is also you. So that way we don't place any blame on the waterfall. It's, I brought this waterfall in for me. I am the waterfall. What is the waterfall trying to show me? What am I trying to show myself? What am I trying to learn here? What is it that I'm trying to distract myself from? Why do I want to be distracted? Why does my ego think it would make me feel safe? Why do I feel unsafe? All right, so I hope that makes sense. Thank you so much, Sayali. I'm glad Vader could get in on your reading. Very Happy Monday says, your faithful furry assistant. He is a good assistant. You are. And very furry you are. Do you know he's allergic to his own fur? Kat said, water table, Tom Petty, running down a dream, another childhood favorite. Then saw the video for the first time a few years ago, and wow, please see it. Well, I definitely will. And Sayali says, thank you to Tara and Vader. You hear that, Vader? You got to help in on reading. And Kat says, such a beautiful animal. He's a goofy boy. He's a good boy, though. Okay. We're going to come back here. I thank everybody. Thank you so much for allowing me to read for you today. Thank you for allowing me to brainstorm with you guys and talk about like what? Oh, okay. Oh, another request. Sorry. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Sometimes it takes like a minute for me to see things. It's like there's such a delay on everything. Um, okay. So, yes, Lilith, I will pull a card for you as well. So definitely let me know what your um, question is. And while you formulate your question, again, like I want to say thank you to each and every one of you who is on this journey with me, allowing me to express the changes that I would like to make with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, or whatever name it is that we end up calling it next. This will be its first name change. I haven't changed it since I first created this channel and my little business. So yeah, I'm excited. And, my business is going to have a lot more handmade items and a lot more of my art and everything. And I'm excited. I'm excited for all of this. So thank you. Thank you guys for coming on this journey with me. Thank you for allowing me to create this peace and prosperity candle with you guys and lead you guys in a prayer and allowing me to read for you and all of that. So I'm super excited and happy and grateful. Thank you. Thank you. Um, Lois says, haha, I'm needy today. You're not needy. You're just fine. Very Happy Monday says, yeah, running down a dream. And Kat says, the symbolism and allegorical properties and the UN cancel painting. I will give you the QST tip to read the painting, The Seven Windows. And Kat says, I will try my best to check in. Okay, so Lilith says, I remember descending on Earth, or do I? Did I dream it maybe? And was there concern from close ones? Okay. Ooh. I think I'm going to have a little cranberry popper on that one. I feel like that's going to help out. Mm-hmm. Mm. Okay. Okay. It's like watching an old movie, but it's almost like your soul family, the souls that surrounded you before you were going to incarnate as a baby here on Earth. It wasn't like a concern like, oh no, Lilith, what are you doing? Don't incarnate into Earth. Oh. No, it was like you literally had just had a life that ended, or at least the physical life, the soul lives on. The soul landed wherever it lands, and might be a little bit different. But so soul lands, and then right away you turn around and you're like, I'm ready to go back in. And it wasn't concern really. It was just, are you sure you want to go back in? Because a lot of souls take a rest period before they go back in. Like they'll have this like really intense, like learning experience life. They wanted to have all these lessons and they wanted to grow and everything. And then it's like, and then they become a soul, they go to heaven. And then it's like, we could just chill out here for while, maybe all eternity, or maybe I'll go back in later. But you had decided that while you were like in that energy, like it's like when somebody's been been doing a lot of work and they know that if they take a break, it'll take forever for them to get back to the grooves that they were in. So you were just like, you know what? I'm just already in it. I'm already in like my mode, my focus. I know that one life literally just ended, but I'm ready to go back in. Like, let's do it. And just your soul family that was also incarnating, by the way, at the same time. Some are near you, some are not. They were just like, okay, so you do realize that you went from one life that had a lot going on to you're going to be going into another life is going to be going through at least the time that you're incarnating. There's going to be a lot of changes in your lifetime. Like it's going to be a lot. Like, don't you want to take a break? And you were like, nah. So it wasn't really concern. It was just are you sure that's what you want to do? Like, don't you want to take a breather? Don't you want to take a couple of lifetimes off, like enjoy heaven for a while? You really want to go back in? And you're like, I'm already in the zone. Like, let's just do it. Like, just, let's go for it. Yes. Page of Wands, little fiery fairy there. Like, let's just do it. I am so ready to go back in. Lilith is like, what am I doing to myself? Well, it's like, it was just this feeling of, well, if I take a break, I take a few lifetimes off, or or I never go back in. Like, there's just a few little odds and ends, like, that I need to get clarified. And I think I can get it clarified in this very actionable lifetime that I'm going to be jumping into. And so it's like, okay, all right, well, be safe. Cat's like, oh, meow. So yeah, you decided you're ready to jump back into the fire. All right, high five. You can't keep this one down. Who needs breaks? I'm going back in. I'm ready for another superset. Cat's like, see, we got this. Lilith's like, it's so wild. I remember this, by the way. Really? Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's not like I can see it. It's more a feeling. Like, with this, it's not that I see you coming from one life going to the other. It's just the feeling of it. It was the, might as well. I mean, fly pretty because anyone can fly safe. And Cat's doing the star kiss, long distance high five. All right. My goodness. Well, thank you so much. So very much, everybody. And then let's see, we have another one of our friends. iFlips says, is there anything in particular I should focus on in 2026? Aha. Let's take a look-ski. And have another cranberry, because why not? I think it helps with the reading. Hello. Okay. Oh my gosh. You spin me right round, baby, right round, like a record, baby, round, 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 round. Oh, oh my gosh, that song. Okay, so that song is playing for your 2026 reading. All right, we have the Ace of Wands. All right, so this is just, again, we've been talking about, it seems like a lot of people are going to have some little bit bigger changes coming in for 2026. This is the year of changes, although we had the year of like clearing, I think, was this year. And then it's like, now that things are clear, we're bringing all this like newness and things are different. And so you might feel almost like going spinning around like on the turntable, like a record just spinning round and round. And it will be pretty easy to get caught up in that energy in 2026 because everything's so new and everybody's trying out something new. So, there are a lot of people are going to be ungrounded. Not a lot of people are going to be like, I mean, some people will, obviously. I'm not saying everyone, But a lot of people are going to be like in this like, oh, this is new and different, this is new and different. And so it might be easy to get caught up in their energy of feeling ungrounded, feeling a little uncertain. But in that very new, almost chaotic type energy, it's also really good energy to tap into for your own creative projects, for some things that you want to bring into your life. So it's just taking a different point of view or utilizing that energy differently. So if you're surrounded by a bunch of people that are like, oh, this is new and weird, we could tap into it in a way that makes us feel anxious, makes us feel like uncertain, ungrounded, because I'm surrounded by a lot of people who are ungrounded. And we can take that in and use it negatively towards ourselves. Or we could say, all right, all this energy is in here. Let's switch that around and turn it into inspirational energy. Let's turn it into like starting that project finally energy, like just tapping into it and utilizing it for the things that you want to start and you want to do, instead of just sitting in it and being like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I'm freaked out too. Are you freaked out? I'm freaked out. Let's all be freaked out together, because that just creates stagnation. But I feel like the message for you is really like full steam ahead, like literally trying a lot of things that you haven't tried before. Maybe you're going to go zip lining for the very first time. Maybe you try spicy foods, like super spicy foods, for the very first time. Maybe you serenade somebody for the very first time, whether or not you think you have playing ability or singing ability, you're just like, I'm just going for it. I'm just doing it. But a lot of that extra oomph can come from the collective consciousness, because they're like in a little bit kind of a weird energy, which makes for really creative energy that you could harness for yourself. Very happy Mondays, love. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. So instead of getting swept away by the energy, gather it up and use it to your advantage. All that like static electricity. Ooh, this is kind of weird and unusual. I'm going to turn this into this. This is where you get to create all those outlets. So if you are starting to feel a little bit apprehensive, a little bit weird because of all the energy, because you might be soaking it up like a little empathic sponge, then think of what outlet you could do. What if I always wanted to try? What if I always wanted to do? And that helps to redirect that energy, instead of letting it just sit there inside of you. So I hope that makes sense. Let's see. Kat says, guess you can't see with a baked eye either. Thanks, Fluoride, for that. Oh yeah, this is closer and closer all the time. Gene plays the fox, the guy who plays the snake. Freaking fabulous with the naked eye. Wow. This is lovely typos. I can read typos. A very happy Monday says, freak out. The freak. C'est chic. Very nice. And Kat says, great in the morning and in the evening. Okay. So thank you, my friend. Little Miss Sunshine says, hello, lovely. May I have a card, please? Thank you, Sandy. Yeah, we are just finishing up our super chats and super stickers, if you would like to do that. And then afterwards, we're going to do a little guided meditation if you want to stick around, a little healing meditation. Might bust out my flute, actually, or my drum. I have so many musical things to bust out. I'm so excited. Okay, another little cranberry. Cranberry 3 or 4. Definitely tap into some of that cranberry energy this week. See what comes of it. Lilith's saying the hand pan. Well, I don't have the hand pan. I have the tongue drum. I was actually thinking of that. I was like, let's do it. Let's freaking do it. Okay. Let me get it. Ooh, my legs are stiff. This is our final live chat of 2025. Oh my gosh, you guys. I have nothing for you, Vader. Don't throw up on me. Jeez. I'm gonna start off the year in dog vomit. Okay. Kat said, thank you, the crowd participation, and you're all fabulous. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I was going to say earlier, cranberry juice is given to elderly. The antibiotics are not as effective. Yes, it's got a lot of good nutrients, actually. Okay, let's bring y'all down here and bring our little candle back. There we go. Kat's like, hang a massive hairball. Yes. Okay. All right. Go ahead and get into a nice, comfortable space, a place you'll be undisturbed for the next several minutes. You could be laying in your bed, sitting in a chair, seated on the floor, or perhaps you are laying underneath your favorite tree. Whatever is comfortable for you. And as you settle yourself, bring your awareness to your breath, noticing your inhales and exhales. Are you breathing in through the nose, the mouth? Is your breathing fast or slow, deep or shallow? And where do you feel that breath? Does it feel free flowing? Does it feel blocked or strained in any way? We are just witnessing the breath at this moment. And so, as you notice the breath, try and begin to make your inhales slow, long, and deep. Trying to bring them into an area of your body that you feel needs a little extra TLC. And perhaps from those areas, we exhale whatever blocks us or makes us feel stagnant. So nice, long, slow, long inhale. And a slow exhale all the way out. Continue breathing in this way, imagining that you are breathing in bright white, unconditional light and love into all aspects of your form, both energetic, emotional, and physical, to every cell, every piece of sparkle that is a part of you. And that every exhale is another piece of the year that we release in love and in gratitude. Continue breathing in this way. All right, you guys, thank you so very much for joining me in this live chat. The final one of 2025. I am wishing you all a very happy new year. May you be blessed with all the things that you are trying to bring in for 2026. Lots of love and blessings to you and your families. Thank you for supporting me here on this journey. Thank you for allowing me to read for you guys. Thank you for listening to all of my ideas and brainstorms for Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and just for joining me on this journey and being the amazing souls that you are. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's give 2026 a run for our money. It's money because we are the magic. So anyway, let's see. Kat says to running for reals, but because your last live of the year, maybe see you for a minute at midnight. Another great BTS song, by the way. And Lila says, enjoy New Year's Eve. A bright night says, it says the same Dirty Dozen. Let's see how they like it when I do it. And Lewis says, hit me up, girlfriend, because I'm overflowing with ideas again, and I need to have an outlet. I promise you today or tonight, I will message you. Little Miss Sunshine says, very happy Monday, says, thanks, Tara. New Year's blessings, everybody. And Kat said, birds of a feather flock together. All right. I will catch you guys later. Peace, love, and chicken grace. Happy 2026. Love you guys. See you on the other side. Peace out.